Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another Sunday stream. I'm Danny, and Jonathan is back this week, so there's going to be loads of laughs, I'm sure. We were just laughing before the stream started. Today, what we're going to do is I'm going to go over my space, my workspace. So if you were here last week and you watched my stream last week, I actually built a lot of the fundamental databases in my workspace from scratch. It was about 3 hours, and what we're going to do, it was a long stream. And what we're going to do this week is I'm going to go through my space so you can see what it looks like from a practical use perspective and see what it looks like in a day-to-day basis. I am currently doing my dissertation, so there's lots of dissertation-related tasks. I can see Jonathan laughing already. And if you have any questions about either MySpace or anything Notion related, there is a form in the description below, and there should be a form in the description below, which I will grab up on the side screen, and then we'll get to it there. If you do have a very quick question, I will try and grab it in chat, but if I do end up losing it or going past it, then make sure you go to the form. Anything else to say before we dive in? Yes, if you are on the replay, I will put timestamps in. Just give me like a couple of hours to rewatch the stream, depending on how long it is. So, Gail, I've seen you in chat and talking. Gail obviously watched The Office Hours. So for those of you that watched The Office Hours with myself and Marie on Friday, this may be a little bit of a repeat, but I'm going to go more in depth into my templates and some of my workflows. So, Jonathan, do you want to do a quick intro for those that haven't seen your lovely face before?
Oh, cheers. Thank you. You weren't going to tell me that you wanted an intro, were you? No, you're just going to... So, supposedly, I'm the sidekick. So I am a Notion nerd, consultant, productivity person who does things really differently. I basically help kind of solo business owners build out a system that works for them. That's what I do. And then come on here and bug Danny.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Right.
And I'm going to be quizzing him to an nth degree, only because I've been told to quiz him.
That is fair. That is fair. But don't quiz me too much. So don't ask me to remake the formula that says weeks and days. That will be a hard no. Right. Let's move the screen over there so you could see everything. So for those of you that are watching, if you can put in chat if you want me to zoom in or zoom out, or if anything's blurry, let me know what's going on, just so that I don't carry on talking and you can't actually see anything. Jonathan, can you confirm that you can see what I can see?
Yep, I can see it all from here.
That is good. That is good. Best intro ever, John.
I do my best.
Yes. There you go. Got an upvote. Henry, good to see you. Devilish Glee has already begun. Yes, it has. He's even got like the red background as well. Right. So for those of you unfamiliar with my space, I will very briefly go over the fundamentals, i.e. my dashboard and how the structure works. And then we'll get a little bit sort of like nitty gritty, and Jonathan can start quizzing me and you guys can start asking questions about how I've done things, built things, and potentially why I've done them the way I have. So
everybody ask him about his new week at a glance formula. He'll love that.
Shut up. Just shut up. Okay, so this is my dashboard. As you can see, it's aptly named. This could be, I think August Bradley calls it his command center. Is that correct? Command center is what he calls his main page. Yeah. I think Marie has Marie HQ. But this is basically where I go every single day. So I start my day, I open up Notion because Notion is life. And this is what I see. And I see my tasks that I need to do today, aptly named in my divider. As you can see, I've got loads of dissertation tasks because that's due in, actually, let's see how long it is. I think it's 6 days. Fingers crossed it's 6 days. Actually, it's 5 days. Oops, even worse. So my dissertation is due in 5 days. And these are the tasks.
We were just talking before the stream about how many words he'd done and how he's got plenty of time, which he knew he hadn't. And now he's just realized he's got less time. So Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week. As he goes and cries.
Yeah, 7,000 words in 5 days. Woo, let's go. Used to it. Just don't let my lecturer see this stream.
I'll send it to him. Fine.
Right, yes. So we've got my today tasks. So all the tasks I need to do today that I have left, because the ones that I've done will have disappeared. So you can see this is the stream that we are doing right now. I can comfortably say I've done that one because we're on stream. So I've ticked it off and it's disappeared. Then I have my notes and ideas. This is my master notes database, which is where I clip everything, I put everything. So any note idea I have from a blog, an article, a YouTube video. Where else do I get resources from? Podcasts, there's another one. Academic articles as well. Hopefully I'll be finished with those soon. And any ideas for videos, podcasts, content, anything like that, they all go into here. And this is filtered for area is empty, and I treat my area as a tag. I will very quickly go and show you what the areas are. If you're in like GTD, you could classify an area as a context. So you can see these are all of the areas I currently have in my space. So these are like contexts that I work in or I'm learning in. When I was at uni, these were like modules. So I'd have anatomy and physiology, biology, pedagogy, psychology, all the ologies really in here. So whenever I have a note and I've processed the note, so I'll capture it and it'll come here. And when I process the note, I'll attach an area to it and it will disappear and go to where it needs to be. Then as we scroll down, I have my daily reminders. That's purely just because sometimes I look at Notion and I get working, doing something, writing a dissertation or not, and I forget to do some things. And then like drink water, clean teeth, that's reply to comments on YouTube. So if you haven't noticed, I respond to as many comments as I can possibly do it. And this is a reminder, so I do it. This is blogging, Instagram, checking my emails. Haven't done that today, so I need to do that. Exercise. Roxanne, good to see you. Just seeing you pop up in chat. And then water, which I have right next to me. And Torin, if you're watching, I did see your comment after the stream about drinking water during the stream. And I forgot to bring up water, which is why I wasn't drinking. And my mouth was extremely dry at the end of that hour and a half. Yeah. And then this basically finishes off my dashboard with a calendar. And this calendar is my task database. So it's the exact same database as this one, except it's in a calendar view, not a list view. And this is kind of where I know Jonathan is a little bit different to me. I have my events in this calendar. So these are tasks that I've classed as events. So you can see today, I don't have any tasks essentially left, but these are actually events. And the way I use this is I have a tag in my task database for events. So if we go to here.
Ooh, I've got a question for you.
Go for it.
So you use the tag as an event. Why don't you have event as an area?
Because I wouldn't need to review the events.
That makes more sense why you have it there then. Because for me, I need to review the meetings that I have with clients, upload the video, send them the links out. That's where you and I differ so greatly. That makes sense. I see.
So when I'm reviewing, I don't review the event area because the meetings essentially are in my business area. So I would review my business area. And when I review my business area, I can see my CRM, which has all the people on it. So the review's already set for the events. And as you can see, this is
I'm not going there. I am staying out of this one. Nope. Nope. You can divide your own audience. Nope. Nope. I am noping on that one.
So you're happy to debate about Rome research, Evernote, security, but football, soccer, you just avoid it.
I just don't care.
Okay, fair enough. You're not a sporty nerd. That's not good enough.
I'm not a sporty nerd.
Yeah, so you can see we've got the event tag, which is what it's showing. If I very quickly, you can see it down here, way behind. If I get rid of the event tag, it disappears because it's not showing, and then I can add that back. Otherwise, I will forget. and now it shows. So I don't use Google Calendar. I use this as my calendar with all the events. And you can see I've got a meeting, I've got another meeting, but this one's a different type of meeting. This is like a business meeting. This one's just like a casual call, football training, meals, going out for food. That's a free house. That's just to remind myself that everyone else is leaving the house for 2 days. Woo, freedom. Yeah, so that is my dashboard.
Another question for you.
Oh, go for it.
Because this is fun. Because this is the big one where you and I differ, like the meetings and that stuff. So like your calendar to like booking calls. So you don't use that at all. You don't use Google Calendar to like at all, or is it just done via Google Calendar, but you just never look at it?
It's not done by Google Calendar. It's done by Calendly.
Yes, but Calendly links to Google Calendar.
If you make it link it, yeah. So what happens is people book a meeting with me on Calendly, and I get an email saying so-and-so's booked a meeting with you. And I go, okay, copy the URL and paste it in here. So when the meeting comes up, so this one, there it is. There's the Calendly meeting. So it's already on my calendar, so I know it's going to happen. It's going to appear in my task database, and this is going to take me to the email that Calendly sent me, which has got the Zoom link on it.
Okay.
And then I can make my notes for this meeting here.
Yeah.
And then that's already related and everything else, and integrated into the CRM, which I can't go into because there's emails in there that people don't want you to see. But yeah, so sorry.
Funny that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I like it goes into my Google Calendar, but I'd never look at it because it's here.
Cool.
You still don't like it.
No,
I can tell.
That's about the only thing about your system I can't get on board with. Everything else, beautiful, but that one is still a bit of a sticking point for me.
So do you use Google Calendar?
Yes. I use Google Calendar for fixed events. I don't do any time blocking in Google Calendar because that's an absolute waste of time. I have it for like fixed events, like if I've got a meeting for a course, and then I don't see my meetings, like my meeting like database is a notes database specifically for meetings. Purely because then I also have like templates for all of the calls I do. I have a workflow which I automatically have ready, just like you do with your projects and stuff. The only time that it changes is whenever I have a one-off consult with someone, it is just a meeting appointment and I do everything inside that meeting. When it's like a long-term consult, then it turns into a project.
Right. Okay. So I assume you have your projects database linked inside of your notes so that you can create a project from those notes. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay, that makes sense. So literally the only difference is I use this and you use Google Calendar.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. The rest of the workflow seems pretty similar.
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't ruin it. It was supposed to be against each other on something. You're ruining it now. Come on.
Sorry, dissonance. We need dissonance. Right, yeah. So for those of you that haven't seen my space before, this is I still haven't decided like nav bar, tab bar, Dan bar. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Someone's ego is getting involved now.
That someone actually replied Dan bar or Danny's bar on Twitter, and I was like, yeah, maybe. Hi Ben, good to see you. Did I see a question coming in chat? Yeah. I did.
A really good one too.
Sorry?
It's a really good one too.
Why do you have review link in top right corner anyway you have the top right? Okay, that is a good question. The main reason that I have the review page here is purely out of convenience. So yes, it is here as well. But when I go into the review page, I could have done it both ways. If I want to go back to the dashboard, I can click here, but sometimes my mouse is at the top of the screen. And if the review page isn't in the dashboard page and it's a page one, the breadcrumb doesn't come up. So it means I have to use the tab bar. I could put it in my sidebar.
You don't use your sidebar.
Huh?
But you don't use your sidebar.
No, ever. I mean, you saw it there. Like that's the extent of my sidebar. um,
Pants icons.
Yes, pants icons. But yeah, so I could drag this into my sidebar and then it would work. It's exactly the same. But the main reason is if I go into this page, which is the same page I've literally just gone into, this doesn't show up because it's going to be a level 1 page. I have tried having the review page in my sidebar, but sometimes I prefer using the breadcrumb. I don't know why. It just happens, and it just goes up there. But yeah, it works either way.
But you could have put the breadcrumb inside of it. You could have used the...
Yeah, but you can't have the breadcrumb in the same place. Like that's just being finicky for finicky's sake. Like
I now put in tiny holes because I have something to say.
Just picking holes in the logic.
Yeah.
Dale has asked, how does the Danny bar look on a mobile device? It depends how many emojis you've got, but it will go straight across until obviously the mobile shrinks and then it just goes down. So for me, I think it's like 2.5 rows because I've got quite a lot of emojis on there. But if I shrink that, so at the moment this is a header 3. This is a header 3 text thing, and I could make that header 1, header 2, or turn it into a normal text. And the smaller it gets and the more condensed it gets, so I've got spaces in here as well. So the more condensed it gets and the smaller it gets, the less space it will take up on mobile. But for me, I'm always on a laptop, and this is a nice size. I mean, I could... Oh, apparently, is it heading 1?
Yeah, it's heading 1. It's been heading 1 for a while.
Not changing. Oh, I don't know. Play around with that later. It might just randomly get bigger or smaller. But yeah, so... This is it just looks like a load of emojis on your phone. There's not really much of a difference, to be honest. However, having said that, these dividers look drastically different, so they don't shrink. These dividers are inline maths, as you can see here. So on the phone, the inline dividers here they're just big. They're just wide, and you can like scroll all the way to the right, and it's just like this blank space between the dividers because everything else will shrink and sort of column up, but these don't.
Yeah. So that's what puts me off using the inline maths. I mean, I have started using inline maths, but like for the headings, like for me, I can't get over that on mobile because I do often use my mobile when I'm creating quick notes. Like something that I'm watching or my wife wants me to do something, I just put it into Notion quickly. So yeah,
I'm never on my phone. Well, if I'm on my phone on Notion, I'm on social media. It's on social media, and then I don't need to access Notion because I will share the link to my Notion's database, so I don't actually go into Notion to clip anything. So, Fannyland, pants icons, yes. For those of you that have no idea what that means, pants is the abbreviation that I have used for my space, projects, areas, notes, tasks, and space repetition. And the only reason space repetition, well, the main reason space repetition is on there is because it spells pants. That's just it.
This is a mature stream, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry?
This is a mature stream.
Yes, a very adult stream. Just trying to keep up with chat. Roxanne said, I have way too many emojis in my nav bar, but I don't use Notion on mobile. My nav bar goes from like huge length to like shrinks down. I'm like, actually, I don't need that one. But it's similar with the quick links. Like when you have a quick links page or a quick links section on your Notion, I used to find myself before I didn't really did I come up with the nav bar? I don't know. Before I started using the nav bar, I was just like, I can add that page. And it's just a long list of pages. But instead of it being a long list of pages, it's now just a long list of emojis. Right. So let's go back to my space. So that's this, and this is a global block. If you don't know what a global block is, that basically means whenever you change it anywhere, it changes everywhere else in your space. I don't have a video about that, but Will Nutt has one. So type global block Notion into YouTube and that video will come up. So we have in the review space, we have essentially the 3 areas that I need to review. well, I shouldn't have said areas. The 3 sections that I need to review. That would make more sense. This one is flashcards. So this is a flashcards database that it works the same as like Anki or Quizlet or any other flashcard system. I don't have many flashcards left in here because most of the flashcards I've either learnt well enough that I've applied them elsewhere and I can recite them, such as para, projects, areas, resources, and archives. They were all flashcards. I now know what that is, and I can recite them, so I don't need the flashcards anymore. Or there were flashcards related to my studies and they were directly related to an assignment. So once I've passed the assignment, I no longer need the flashcard because it was only for the assignment. It wasn't for my own personal learning or education. The flashcard system, so I'm going to add a flashcard so you can see everything that's going on. If you want to build this yourself, I have got a video called Space Repetition on YouTube, so you can have a look and build it yourself if you want to understand how it works or change it and alter it anyway. YouTube link, because flashcards normally come from YouTube. Wikipedia link, because, I mean, everyone uses Wikipedia. Areas, and this goes into this space, as you can see down here, and I treat areas as tags. So for studying, for biology would be an area. I would then have biology as an area relation, so I can have decks of flashcards. So I could filter my flashcards database for area equals biology, for example. So I can have decks of cards that are specific to the area. I could have like 2 areas in there, 3 areas, or context, however you want to define them in there. Then we've got Notion. We've got Notion. Yeah, we do have Notion. Then we've got Review. Great. We're in Notion. Then we have Review, and I still haven't changed this, and I mentioned this on stream on Friday, like if. The if. I need to change the if.
If.
I know.
I'm not going to behave. This, you know, that you could simplify this really easily, you know. Maybe you should do it now.
Maybe I should. Excuse me. You sure?
Yeah. Who would like to see him do it now and change it? It's a very good learning thing, going from, because I've got something similar where you've got to, where I've had ifs from before, and now I of course use the question, which is so much simpler and better for people who are new to formulas. There are 2 ways of writing this. One way, you know the professional terminology, I just know the English way. One is using this if, prop equals, etc., etc. The other way is to just have the kind of result and then have a question mark. It's asking a question and then one way, then another.
Well, no one's put anything in chat, so we'll move on. So all this really does, is basically if stage 2. So you can see the stage here. If it goes to stage 2, it's going to add 1 day, so I need to review it the next day. If it's stage 3, add 3 days, so it will go forwards 3 days. The reason this is 3 and not 2, I tried to explain this on Friday, but basically when you first get the add the task, add the flashcard in, or you get it wrong, you'll have like day 0, like the first day. And then you add 1 for stage 2. So it's the next day. When you see it that next day, you're actually 1 day ahead of the first day. And if you get that right again, and you want there to be a 2 difference, if you put 2, it's only going to put like the next day, because it'll be the first one to the first day, then for the next one. So it's only going to have a 1 difference. So what you need to do, I'm not going to explain all the maths behind it, but basically go, I want to add 2, and the previous one was 1, so I'm going to do 1, add 2 makes 3. Did that make sense, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that?
No, it did.
Okay. Yeah, so here we've got 1, and then we want the difference to be 2, so I'm going to go 1 add 2 makes 3. I want the difference to be 4, so I'm going to do 3 add 4 makes 7. Then I want it to be 8, so 8 add 7, 15, etc., etc. So it's not actually going to be, I see a card, and then I don't see it for like 2 years. But that's not right. But yeah, so that's how the numbers work in the flashcards. Then most of these templates are actually really old. But what these templates would do, let's see if this one, yeah, there we go. So what that template did is it added it in the YouTube area. So this would be like the YouTube deck of flashcards. Added in stage 1, because that's always where you start, stage 1. And it didn't add the date because the date's always going to change. If I add date wrong, you can see, let's put a Q and put an A Oh, did I not click on there? No, I didn't. Put an A. There we go. So this is what it would look like. And you've got, oh, did I put Q at the top? There, that's where the A went. There we go. So you can see I'll have my question at the top here, and then I have my answer in the flashcard. And if we go back to my home space, to my dashboard, you can see down in my daily reminders, I have a roll up for that. So it's showing me I have 1 card due today and I have 2 areas due. And the way this works is I have related every single area in my space to this database, which means that the roll ups work basically. So when I go back to so I can see here, I have 1 card due and 2 areas due. So I go into my review space because that's what I need to do. I need to review what I'm doing. Come into here, I can see this is the card. I would ask myself the question, Q, what's the answer? A is the answer. There we go. I got it right. I'm going to go. Sorry?
Utter genius. You figured out it was A. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll go to stage 2, and you can see the review date has now changed to 14th. So tomorrow it will appear, and then if I get it right, we'll go stage 3, etc., etc.
So how often do you use this now for what you're learning? Because I understand when it comes to just learning stuff, as in from memory, memorizing, this is when flashcards are really useful. But a lot since moving into like the, I suppose, almost businessy kind of stuff, there's a lot less learnt information.
Less like recited information. Yeah. Like regurgitated information. So there's a couple of use cases that I've used for this since. One of them is quotes. So having quotes sort of like pop up. So that's been pretty useful. And the other ones are things that have resonated with me. So like with notes, for example, I've taken a note, maybe Tiago's tweeted something, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And I've taken it as a note. And the way that I process my notes is I'll capture the note. I'll then process the note so it's sorted. And then I'll do something with the note, depending on where it's sorted to. If it's blog, then I'll blog about it. If it's YouTube, I'll make a video about it. But sometimes something will resonate with me. And I'm like, I want to think about that a bit more. So I'll put it into my flashcards. So it's sort of like a cue for me to go, yeah, why that thing, or what that thing, or give me an idea about that thing. And the third one that comes to mind is when I'm speaking with people on calls, consulting, or anything like that, and then anything pops up, I'll put it in here. So if a question pops up, I'll put it in here. And so if I struggle to answer a question, or I had to really think about that question in the call, so there was a question that happened a couple of weeks ago on a consulting call, and they asked me a question. It was Notion related, and I couldn't remember off the top of my head what the answer was, so I had to do a quick like Notion browse, and I was like, I want that to be a tip of the tongue answer. So I put it in there because I was like, this is a question that will probably come up again, and I want to be prepared for it to make myself look smart.
So that's why you have flashcards, basically, to make yourself look smart.
Yeah. Yep. And also, obviously, to help learning. Yeah. So we've got that, and then we have areas, and this is, I think, probably the more unique use of my space when looking at other people's spaces in Notion. From what I've seen anyway. And what these are all the different areas, the context in my space, and there's a review tick on it. So we go into blogging. We can see that I have a review, and the review frequency is 6 days. That's purely because of the way that Notion works with the day added. So if it was 7 days, it's actually going to go for Monday rather than Sunday, which is irritating. So it's 6 days. But what this allows me to do is, instead of having like a recurring task, say plan out blogging or plan out YouTube, or if it was a meeting, so if it was a recurring meeting that you need to go over, or maybe an AGM, you can set the review frequency. So if what was the example? A church. There was a church group, and they had an AGM meeting every month, and they had, because church, there's no end date to church. They always did it. It became an area, but they always had an AGM, so there was always a meeting, and they had their meeting in their calendars, and they all used different calendars. but they sorted their stuff in Notion. So what I suggested to them was just have a review frequency for 30 days or 29 days or whatever it was, and then it would appear. So they know they needed to review something, which is basically like a monthly review for their church information. For me, this review is really short because I want to plan out blogging fairly frequently, 6 days, well, 7 days because of the way Notion works. It's the same with YouTube, but some of the other reviews are like 20 days, 30 days. I know you've sort of like adopted this slightly. What's your experience using the areas for review? Have you?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm kind of going in a similar way to you. Like, I haven't fully integrated everything in yet because I've been doing other things. But yeah, I think one of my favorite parts is that review and that reminder to come in. So I work a lot with business owners who like want help with their tech and just all the nerdy stuff that gets set up. And so for me, I can definitely see that, you know, they pay me once a month. And so having like, you know, every 28 days or 1 month in my example would be really powerful, just to be able to come in every week and going, oh cool, I need to look at this, or every day, oh look, I need to look at this. And it's a really nice way of using almost like recurring tasks, but making it bigger. I like this way of working. It's a very clean way of working.
Yes. Yeah, and I think if you can set up the dashboard in the area appropriately, like you can see here, I mean, this works for me. Like all of these notes, these are clipped on my main dashboard, and then they're just like template goes in and then they're here. So I don't need to think about them. Like I clip them, I process them. I don't need to think about them because I know my area review for blogging will appear. So when that happens, which happens to be today, I can come in and go, okay, these are all the things that I've grabbed that I've gone, oh yeah, I can blog about that. And then I'll drag it into here. So I'll associate a date with it. And you can see I need to go through all of these things, but dissertation comes first. I need to go through all of these things and turn them into projects.
just it comes first. I don't want it to come first, but it will come first.
Yeah. Yeah. So these sort of like they have a date, so I know I need to do these, and you can see I'm sorted for a while, planning blog posts out. But these are all ideas that have come to me.
These notes, so they start life as a note. So do you actually create a project, or do you just move it from the note to the project? Do you have
Give me like 30 seconds. I was in the process of scrolling down.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I do create a project. So you see, this is filtered. Instead of telling you the filter, I'll show you. So this is filtered for blogging and content marketing, and YouTube and content marketing, because I also want to see all the YouTube stuff that's going out as well. But if I add anything into this project's calendar, it's going to tag it with blogging and content marketing, because that's the first filter. I don't know if you know this, but if you have an advanced filter, it will take the first one, not the second one. So it'll add blogging content, not YouTube and content. And all of these are projects that are related to a note.
Okay. So you don't turn the note into a project. So you don't just drag and drop, because I know both of us love the drag and dropping of things. So is this kind of almost like your summarization of a note, for example?
Yes.
So you kind of, if we're looking at Tiago Forte's kind of like methodology, this is your kind of
progressive summarization.
This is your summarized note to the nth degree of one sentence.
So the reason I don't drag the note into the project, well, there's two reasons. One, properties get mucked up sometimes, and it's a pain in the bum to then delete the properties and all the relations and stuff. So you have to drag it outside of the database to cancel out the properties and then drag it into the database, which works. But also, when I'm in the project, if I want to go back to the note, and this comes to where my notes hierarchy comes in. If I have, for example, this 70 rubbish videos, if that project came from a note, which may be like a 3-word note, if I've just dragged that note and turned it into a project, there's no like back tail. There's no like
Yeah.
history of where it came from. So if you're going to have to work with me because I'm not going to be able to go through Notion quick enough because I'm streaming. If this project is related to this note and this note is related to another note, I can go all the way back and find where the original idea came from. And because this project database is filtered for this note, there you go, notes contains this one. Also, put those tags in there, or area contains this, that, and this one's just so it shows everything else, so I don't put something in there that shouldn't be. What this allows me to do is take as many notes as I want, going all the way down. So maybe I've watched an hour-long video about Thiago Forte talking about projects, and then that video is related to his para article. Then the para article, I have 4 notes, P, A, R, A. Then I have notes on the P, so I've now got like a note of a note of a note of a podcast, and then that note then becomes a blog post. Then that blog post becomes a project, and that project I can link all the way back to the original podcast because of the relations. Did that make sense?
Yeah, there's a really good question in the chat that you'll want to answer, and it was my next follow-up question.
Okay. This is from Svaniland. I am wondering at some point the notes parts will be overfilled. Do you process some notes any further? When it comes to being overfilled, I assume you're talking about like there's too many things in the database. In that case, that's actually what I'm currently testing out as well with my tasks. When it comes to the amount of things you can have in a database, I know you can have at least 15,000 because I've tested it, as long as you filter appropriately. When it comes to do you process some notes any further? So when it comes to processing notes, depending on the note is depending on how many times I want to process that note and things like that. So some notes aren't there. So if we come into here, so some notes go into, oh, I need to click on this window. Their area goes to resources. Rather than blogging. So my resources is an area, and resources is essentially classed as continual learning. So that's like my learning list. Where's the best place? There we go, from here. So I have a very similar process with review, which is here. You can see resources due, and this is filtered for area contains resources. So any of those like big high level resources that I will end up reviewing over and over and over again are in here. But that review is like a month's time. So I may have watched that podcast and then in a month's time, it come up here and go, do you want to watch that again? When it comes to the other notes, like the smaller notes, all of the things that I blog about, I have processed them. So I will capture them, which I will have read them first. Then I will process them, which means I read through them and I tag them somewhere. Then I'll process them again because I need to actually make the blog post. Then once I've processed them and made a blog post, I then need to actually create the blog post. So that's like 4 times of reading this thing over a span of 2-3 weeks. Then once I've published that blog post, I'll obviously read it again. That's 5 contacts with this note. And then I have a summary. So every month I summarize the blogs that I've made. So that's six contact points. And the summary is, so I'm doing my August summary at the moment, and that won't be due till the 1st of October. So I will have essentially looked at the note 6 times over a 3-month span. So if anything has come from like in the last 3 months that relates to or anything like that, I can look backwards, forwards, and then bring notes together. So when it comes to like processing notes, I process the same thing a lot and very often. So I try not to forget things. Hopefully that answers your question.
I have a follow-up.
Yes.
So you were talking about the resources stuff, the way you want to rewatch it again. How do you decide what goes in the notes and ideas and what goes in a flashcard? Because if you're reviewing it again, is the flashcard just to review a single small thing? Whereas when you put it in a resource, it's like an hour-long podcast or like a 2-hour video. Is it the length? That is, oh, I like that one. Emily Hill has a
I just saw a question mark. So it's not necessarily the length. Obviously, you know this fairly well. I consume a lot of YouTube content, and the way I ask. Sorry?
That's the reason why I asked, because you've got a lot of content. How do you decide where it goes?
Yeah, so I consume a lot of content, and there's a lot of content that I watch and go, I didn't learn anything from that, or that didn't make me think about anything, that didn't trigger any ideas or anything like that. But if I'm watching a piece of content and there's numerous times and I'm like, okay, that was cool, that was cool. So if I've taken like five to 10 or 5+ notes on something, it means that my brain was thinking, like, I had to process, like I was learning something from it. Which means in the future, when I've gone over those 5 notes that I've taken from the resource, there may be more notes to actually grab, because now I further understand what they were talking about. So it gives me that like second opportunity to go back. If it's just a YouTube video where I've got like 1 or 2 notes, I'm like, cool, great, I know that, I can just go and review it now. So that would become a note rather than a resource. Does that?
So it's kind of like your resource is like a folder of notes.
Yeah. Well, my resource is an area, and it's an area of what I would class as dense resources. So they're podcasts, they're articles, they're long videos that have lots of different thoughts, ideas, and like things that are involved. There's not many. Actually, I don't think there are any like short videos in there, because they're not dense with information, and they don't trigger thoughts, they don't trigger ideas, they don't create a spark, which is like what I have in my head. So a lot of them are longer form content, but it's just like if I am like feeling, oh, you know what, I just want to like watch something, I'll go and have a look at my resources due and be like, okay, this may trigger some thought. Or if I need some inspiration or ideas, I'll go, okay, let's have a look at resources and see if I need some ideas for thought. Or sometimes I actually go into my resources database because I remember something about what someone said or the way someone said something, but I didn't make a note on it because at the time of using, like doing, like watching whatever it wasn't at the forefront of my mind. A good example of this is Ali Abdul did he's done loads of deep dives recently. He did one with, what's his name? Bald guy, glasses, does blogging, doesn't like the internet. Sorry?
Derek Sivers?
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, I have no idea how you got that from there, but yes, Derek, that's the one. Yeah, so that podcast is a resource. I'm not going to go into the database because the area is literally just a long list. But yeah, so that live stream's in there, and I'd written like loads of notes from that live stream because it was really, really dense with information. But I remember him saying something, and I was looking through my notes, and I was like, it's not there. So I had to go back to my resource and just watched it through again, and then made a subsequent note. But if I didn't save it as a resource, then I'd be stuffed. I'd have to like go back to YouTube and yeah.
So do you have like a people? I swear I saw a people database.
Yes.
So that's another database. You've got another database. I thought you kind of, or is that? Now I'm intrigued because you're a minimal database person, which I really, really respect and also like find really hard myself of keeping it minimal. So what made you add a people's database? What makes you decide to add another database?
The main reason for the people's database is purely for business. It's literally the only reason. Like, essentially, the people's database is the one thing that was missing from the whole CRM system. Like, people create CRM systems on Notion with like 3, 4, 5 databases. I've already got a solid 4 database structure, 5 if you include flashcards, but solid 4 database structure. The rest, like the whole of my CRM, is built into the 4 databases. But the one thing that I couldn't work out was the people dashboards. Like, if that was to, like, I could use areas as people, but people typically, like people I work with, they are more of a project because, like, I'll work with that person until the project's done and then it's finished. It's not an ongoing area.
Yeah.
So the business is the area, which meant I needed like an areas database inside my business area, which is where the people's database came from. Yeah, like I didn't like making it, but it's the only way that made the CRM system make sense.
I sulked while I made it. I don't want to just database. Why can't I use a database? Sorry.
Yep, pretty much. I still have like an exercise database that just sits there. Like I don't use it. It's because like I'm in the process of transferring things over. Because I did have like a lot of databases, and I just realized like I'm not using most of it. So
Yeah, and that's a
um,
big point, isn't it? Like people make loads of databases, and then you go, I don't really need that. Really, that's kind of a bit just pointless, and more work, and more editing, and more properties of relations, and
exactly.
yeah.
Like my library area. Let's go into my library area. This will be good fun. I'll answer Emily's question because I know Emily asked a good question in chat. So this area, I think the review is like 20 days because I just don't read. I don't like reading. It's just my preference. I prefer to watch YouTube videos. I will quite happily spend 10 hours a day watching YouTube videos. I will watch a 5-hour lecture and just not read like 10 pages in a book. I would prefer to sit and watch 10 hours of two boring old men talk about behavior change theory than read a 10-page book on something. It's just my preference. But yeah, so I do have a readings database, but I haven't edited it in like a year. Yeah. I haven't read any of these books, by the way. Actually, no, tell a lie. I've read this one. I've read 2 chapters in this one. I had to read this one because that was my head of course. I've read the title of this one. I read the blurb of this one. I've read the blurb of this one. I've watched about like 70 hours worth of Mel Robbins talk about this one. I've watched this guy's course on this one, but yeah, I just don't like reading. Like, I'd much rather them just like talk at me. Like Audible is really attractive, but
Yeah,
I just haven't got around to doing it. And I don't know what it is. Like I want to be able to see the person.
yeah. I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, that wasn't a
Pun. Right, let's get to Emily's question because you said it was a good question. So, what is one area of your Notion setup you couldn't live without? Oh, that is a good question. I saw the question mark, but didn't actually read the question. What is one area I couldn't live without?
the whole thing. That would be my because it's all for me. She's not asked me, so no one cares. But
Answer it anyway while I actually think of my answer.
You find your answer. I'm stalling for you, Danny. I'm stalling for you. For me, it's the whole thing. Like I couldn't live without any of it because it's so interconnected and so important. If I had no choice but to choose, I probably for me would be the notes because I consume so much. Not as much as you, obviously, Danny. But like,
but my notes is in an area.
yeah,
My notes is in an area.
Like, it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
So the lot would be my answer, which is a really rubbish.
I mean, it's essentially one area of Notion setup you couldn't live without. That's basically saying one area of my life. I mean, so at the moment, YouTube, because without the YouTube, like content just wouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen. Like live streaming, I can live without. That's just like knowledge. Monetization, same thing. That's like money. And John and I spoke about this beforehand. I would do everything for free if life wasn't revolving around money. Business again, CRM, that's money related. Behavior change, that's like an area for knowledge. I don't really need the play page to be honest anymore because my play page is my free templates. That's for public. Like everything I play with goes free and everyone can look at it anyway. The arts page, that's just me messing around. Actually, let's go in there just to show people like.
Oh, is this your like? Oh, I know what this is. This is so funny. I love it.
I haven't been in here for absolutely ages, so. Yeah, so this was a picture that I was trying to copy, but there you go. This is Mario. This is Mario in Notion. But yeah, so essentially, I just got like a pixel art from Google, and then just tried to replicate it into Notion. And for those of you interested, this is not easy, and it's a lot.
Oh, that's
actually, I think is this. Oh no, it's not. Where's the?
So is that one block?
No, they're all individuals, but I have made it into one. Here we go. There we go. there's Mario, everyone.
Whoa, that's nice.
Yeah, that's Mario in inline maths.
How long did that take you?
About an hour.
Productivity, everybody.
Yeah, well, it's like, so I did all the individual rows like this. Like, you've got to make these one white blocks, otherwise the blocks don't line up and stuff. But yeah, so you got like white blocks, red blocks, and different colors and the rest of it. So I did all the inlines and then turned it into one. So, but yeah, I mean, this area I could definitely do without, because it's just me playing around with Notion because I can.
You have way too much time, Danny. Roxanne said, yeah, I agree.
Way too much time. Way too much time. No, I just don't do my dissertation.
That's the truth.
The honest truth. No, I have the exact same amount of time as everyone else. And I say this, like, every time when someone says, oh my God, I'm so busy, or how do you have so much time for that? I have 24 hours a day, just like everyone else. And I probably have less because I sleep 8 hours. It takes me an hour to go to bed, and it takes me an hour to wake up. And then I watch TV for an hour in the morning. So, like, I have maybe like 12 productive hours in a day. It's just how you use those hours. It's like, how do you use those hours? Do you fiddle around with your phone, or do you sit there and go, what am I going to do? Or like, I can just go into Notion, go bang, 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 smack all the tasks out. And I'm like, right, now I've got like 2 hours spare. Let's make Mario or Luigi in Notion.
Notion just, yeah.
Notion is more important than my dissertation. Well, I'm doing my dissertation in Notion, so without Notion, I'll be using Word. So, yeah, scrolling for days. Yeah, and all these other areas. I mean, tasks doesn't have to be an area. Projects doesn't have to be an area. But I guess if I had to, tasks, because without tasks, without the task area, I would not get anything done. Full stop. Nothing would get done. Because I mean, they're my actions. That's what happens. That's all my engagement. But yeah, right. Was there another question? You could make me write keywords and use them to search through the transcript of your YouTube videos. What was that related to? Do you know what that was related to, Jonathan?
Yeah, related to like your resources section. You know how you have to go back and rewatch a video again? It would be creating a transcription of that. And then
right, yeah.
I think that's what it was about. Emily can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that does sound like a good idea, and that does make sense. But if I was to do that I don't know if you know how much I watch. I had a look on YouTube watch thing like 2 weeks ago. So it gives you the stats of how many hours you've watched during the week. 2 weeks ago, I watched 52.3 hours in a week of YouTube. Bearing in mind, I watch everything times 2 speed, so it's not actually 52 hours. It's more like 25 hours. But yeah, so that's how much YouTube I watch a week. So transcribing all of that, I don't want to swear on stream, but yeah, F that. But transcribing the big resources potentially, but again, like oh wow, I'm going to forget his name. He's got blue thumbnails. That's literally what sticks out in my mind. Blue thumbnails, motivational kind of speaker, does loads of business stuff. Can't remember his name, but I watch his videos and they're like 40 minutes long. I watch like 2 or 3 of those a week. And I could transcribe all of those, but yeah, most of those will turn into like 15 notes. But yeah, I like the idea. Definitely like the idea. Jonathan mimicking discounted Danny making another idea. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I know that was come from. Right. So where were we before we got to that question?
Sorry.
God, that was like 20 minutes, wasn't it? Oh, that was a while.
What do you expect?
Blogging, YouTube.
You were going through your areas.
Yeah, so I was going through the areas and it was sort of generally explaining them. I think so. On the stream on Friday, I didn't go through a process of creating something. So what I guess I want to do is show you how the templates work, because understanding the databases is one thing. Understanding how the templates can be applied is another. And I know you've kind of adopted a similar sense of like drag and drop with all the.
I love the drag and drop. Like, it is really beautiful.
No, not you transcribing. I mean, YouTube has a transcript option on its videos, so keywords. Yeah, true. Because they've got the thingy. I think that feature may be going away soon. I'm not sure because not many people are using the subtitle stuff. But I don't know. That's just something I saw on YouTube creators.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I think they're getting rid of it. I saw that too. They are getting rid of that option, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, I need to. I think I need to. Yeah, I need to actually like plan this out. So I guess I could do this like now live. So let's plan out a video live, right? So this is me right now. I need to plan out next week's stream, and anyone that wants to come on stream, there's a link in the description so you can come on and chat with me, chat with John, or show your space, or just ask any sort of questions. Fully open. But yeah, so I need to plan out the stream. We can do that one. That one's really easy. So I'm going to click the plus button. I haven't titled the stream because I haven't done anything about it, and I'm going to go live stream. Ooh. There we go. Wait for Notion to keep up with me. Make it a big page, just so you can see everything that's going on. Let's just put a stream in there as a placeholder. So we are in my projects database. So I have the time left formula, which is the long formula that I said I'm not going to try and repeat. Yeah, I'm debating about putting an M on it for months, but yeah, I don't know about that. maybe when I got a bit of time. So you can see it's 1 week time because obviously it'll be next week. And then I have my preset tasks, which are here. So I'm going to click, drag, and drop. Did you say something?
No.
No. Okay. I thought you did. So that's all the tasks sorted. So now I'm going to go back to my YouTube area. I think I might have been too quick then because I clicked the shortcut before the page loaded.
Notion doesn't like it when you stream and try to use Notion.
Well, it's because I'm so quick on the shortcuts because it's just how I work. And then, yeah. Right, so now, as you can see, we've got the stream. We've got the X because I haven't done any of the tasks. And the tasks have come in for today because that's when they were filtered for. So now I can look and go, okay, when am I going to do these tasks? I'm actually doing my dissertation next week, so I probably don't want to do these tasks too early. But normally what I would do is I would go create, research. Stream is obviously that day because that's when I'm doing it. Thumbnail, typically, I will do it then. So as you can see, I've got the videos here, all the video tasks in, all the stream tasks in, and that's me planning my stream. I literally don't need to do anything else because it will show up on my dashboard when I need to. So that process was really long. Yeah, and then ideas. So what I would typically do is normally grab an idea from here and turn it into a video in some way. Depending on what the note is, will change how I move it. So some of these, video topics, I have no idea what this is about. Is there something in it? Oh, there we go. So this is a note. So little media code. That's not really relevant for the stream, but this is just like a note to keep track of all the different topics. So that's not actually a video idea. That's just something to keep track of. That's not a video idea either. This is really good. Have I got any videos ideas? I don't know. This is me because I'm reviewing this space right now with you because as you saw, it's due to be reviewed today. Using this one, use notes to make tweets. Okay, so this is actually an idea for numerous videos. So use notes to make videos. So there's loads of tweets that obviously Tiago puts out and other creators put out, and there's loads of philosophies and methodologies that they have to either using Notion, using Roam, and things like that. And having videos, we all want this formula. I assume that's the big formula from earlier.
I have it. You just have to pay an awful lot of money to have it, you know. I'm joking.
You got the first version. I mean, I made that.
That's not fair.
I haven't changed it, to be fair. It's still the same. But yeah, so I will probably make like numerous videos from this note, so I wouldn't actually like drag this and drop. But then what I would do is I turn it, so this is my notes database, this is my projects database, and what I would do is these are projects, the exact same as the other projects, but the date is empty, the due date is empty. So these are all videos that I kind of like thought through and gone, yeah, I'm going to do that. But then I need to work out when I'm actually going to like publish those videos, and you can see all of those weeks are planned for. So we've got those in there. This is not set, by the way. So if you don't see one of these videos come out, that's probably because something else has come up. That is an idea. Let's dump that on a Monday because I get less views on a Monday because everyone's like watched the stream.
Well, that was a salty response, isn't it? I'm gonna views on a Monday.
Well, no, I just know that like people monthly update. Yeah, so let's put that on a Friday. And it's like Monday's the beginning of the week, and most people are just like, shall I, shan't I? And I find just from my audience, obviously you guys can let me know, but most people on a Monday have like just gone back to work, just gone back to college or uni or whatever, and I'll see like these views will like sort of stagger along, and then this video comes out, and then this one gets cut, and then this one does well, and then it goes, and then Friday does well, and then Saturday suddenly like all the videos just go voomp because it's the weekend. So yeah, I feel like everyone just like watches all the videos at the weekend, but you got to stagger them out during the week. But yeah, so I'll put the monthly update one down there.
Is that the publish date? So like the project there is the publish date for that video. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, so that is when the video is going to get published, and that's the project. So that is the project due date, not the task due date. I had to like reinforce that on Friday. Yeah, so we got that one, and then oh yeah, this one actually might have a related note, so you'll be able to see where I got this from.
Response video note. Yeah.
It's the response videos. So we'll go back. We're going to here. So I watched. There you go. Hold up. There you go. You can see it's a resource. There we go. So I watched this video from Ali Abdul, and you can see these are all the notes that I made from the video. I didn't actually turn them all into notes because so I was going through the video, taking notes as the video went on, and as the video ended, I then looked at them and it went like, okay, do I really need to make that into a note, or can I remember that, or do I already know that? And things like that. And I went through, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. But there were a couple of things in here where I was like, I don't completely agree with what you're saying. And it's not like you're wrong, I'm right. It's I just have a different idea, different approach, different thought process. So because it's a note, I just came into here, I was like, you know what, let's make it into a note. And because it's a note, it appeared in my dashboard. So I've just clicked through. So this response video note appeared in my dashboard. And what I did is I then made a note from it. Where am I going? I'm going here because I want to go back to the video. I'm like, which link am I clicking on? There we go. So I got the resource, then I got the note, then I got the note, and then I got the project. So that's sort of like the back trail of this video, so I can go back to where it came from. Was that useful to see from your perspective, John?
That's pretty cool, actually. I like how you kind of, yeah, it's kind of cool. I like that.
Cool. And now I know it's going to be a video. I'm going to click on the new video template. And this is going to throw a fair amount out. So
ding, 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 ding. We need music sound effects in this now. That has to happen.
What?
You need to have sound effects and like music in the background for when you're waiting.
When I'm waiting for Notion to load. Yeah, so we've still got the 4 weeks and 3 days. We've got the area tag, which is already in. We've got the note where I can go back if I need to. But now I have all of these tasks. This one has the event tag on it. So for those of you at the beginning of the stream, you'll know that like I use my calendar. So I can't drag it. Yeah, I can actually, because this is going to be a video. This isn't me playing around. This is me actually making the video. Drag them all in. You can see it's already related, and that's a check because when I'm playing around with templates and stuff, sometimes it adds, yeah, not needed. But you can see this is a publishing tag. So this will appear in my dashboard. If we come up, actually, they'll all be there now. So you'll like actually be able to see it because they'll all be on today's date. Normally I don't come back here because normally I go straight to YouTube and plan it all out. But you can see this publish one is got the tag on, so I can see that I'm publishing a video and I'm publishing this video on this date, but it's not actually this date. And then I have all these other tasks. And this was actually a question that came up in the live stream on Friday. Roxanne is saying she wants the time left formula.
Someone's recording a video.
I'm not. You know what? I might for if you're interested to know how like the process of creating that thing came about, I might make a video making that formula. I know the views will be low on that because like it will literally just be like it's going to go straight into a nested if statement. But yeah, if you're interested to see how I made it, go for it. And I may make the formula available at some point, but I feel like I need to like condense it a little bit if I can, because there are so many like ifs and buts in it.
Can you
what make a video about it?
No, can you condense it?
I don't know. I feel I could, but like the process of creating it, I was using like 5 properties to like test things out, because it was like I've got the big nest here, and then I've got a smaller nest, and then I'm like working out an if function that's related with like a contains thing, and like if that's true, then this has got to be in the right order. And yeah, I feel like I could make it smaller potentially, but I really don't know. I definitely
you do those long, really long formulas. You're just like, once they're done, you never want to touch them again.
But like, when looking at it, it's not even that long of a for those people who are looking at it like, what? It's not actually that long of a formula.
No.
Because there's not many things in it. But because it's so complicated, that's what makes it like, ugh.
Roxana said, yeah, video would be great. So you just been told.
Oh, that's going to be a nasty one to make. I'm going to end up swearing so much. I feel like that's one of those videos where bleepers would be appropriate. Bloopers even.
Outtake, like put it on another channel you might have in the future of just outtakes.
Maybe I've got so many different ideas for YouTube, and obviously we can talk about it after stream. But being truthful, I would probably copy duplicate the template and maybe play around with it. Yes, I think that's what everyone does with all of, irrespective of how long the formula is. I think that's what everyone does. But yeah, going back to this question that I actually saw in the feed on Friday. Someone asked why I have duplicate tasks, and they're not actually duplicated tasks. So when I was showing my yeah, there we go. So thumbnail and thumbnail, like they look like duplicate tasks, but they're not, because they're the same task, because it's an SOP essentially, but for a different project. And on stream on Friday, I think I had like 4 different videos that I still needed to work on, because I was actually doing my dissertation work, not my YouTube work. And it was like...
And we have like loads of hand claps and congratulations in the chat, because I know how much that probably killed him. Everyone would cheer as anything for that. Anyway, I'm now completely derailing it. Sorry, carry on.
Thanks. I'm going to take a sip of water now, and I'm going to leave you to hold it.
Cool. I love
That's it. One word. I leave you to hold the stream. It's just one word. Yeah, and I had like 4 thumbnail tasks, 4 create tasks, and the rest of it. And they are duplicated tasks in a sense, so they are recurring tasks in a sense, but they're related to different projects. Lol claps. Yeah. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go back to YouTube. So I have actually planned this out. Waiting. Doing a bit of head bobbing and weaving. Actually, Roxanne, if you fancy coming back on stream, because obviously you said the other day that you got like a mic. Was it last week or the week before? You said you got like a new mic. Come on stream and like we could have another chit chat. Yeah, and like I say, anyone that fancies coming on stream, go for it. The link's on the public page and in the description. Right, so where's the video? The video is the one with the X because I've actually put tasks into it. And what am I doing? I don't even need to go into there.
No, I was wondering.
This is because I've destroyed like my workflow process. It's like I drag the task in, then I go into the relation, I go into YouTube area, I scroll down here, and you can see all the tasks. Now, because I know I'm doing my dissertation next week and it's due here, it's due Friday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sensible and I'm not going to put them on Saturday. I'm going to just dump them all in. I'm going to move them to the next week. So I'm going to click and drag and drop them all to the appropriate days. And the reason I'm doing it like this is what I found when I'm doing tasks is batching tasks together makes life so much easier. So you probably noticed like research, script, record, blah, blah, blah. Student, same thing. In life, same thing. Like if I have tasks that are similar, and similar being either in the same software, doing the same thing, the same setup. So when I'm recording, obviously I'm going to have whatever my recording software is, which is Filmora. I'll have Filmora 9 up. Then I'll have Audacity up for my audio recording. So those things are already up and ready. So I might as well do all 3 recordings together and batch it together so I can just get everything done rather than go, okay, I need to script this. I need to research this. Now I need to script this. Now I need to record this and get like 1 video done a day. Because for me, 1, it's really stressful. Like doing 1 video a day is stressful. And 2, like there's so much like gap in between. Like I research it, then I've got to like get into a different mindset to script the video out. Then I need to get into a different mindset to audio record and the rest of it. And it's just easier to batch things together. What's your experience with like batching tasks? This is less of like a Notion thing and more of a philosophy of managing tasks.
Yeah, that's something for no one. I don't know how many business owners are here, but like. Often people say, oh, well, just do your client work over the week, whereby if you squeeze it in to a day, you don't have to kind of switch like mindsets the whole time. That's kind of where Notion's power comes in, because without this, you would have, I don't know, Trello for your YouTube planning, or no, probably looking at the way you do it, you would have one app here, one app there, Google Docs here. And it's kind of a similar thing. Everything can be in Notion because it all works in Notion, and you don't have to task switch. The more you have to switch, it takes like at least 5 minutes just to recover from switching between a task. That's why things like, multitasking sucks.
Yep, I'm not going to go sexist. Multitasking. But it's like, so someone's put it in chat. Oh no, I thought someone put something related to this in chat, but it's like with any sort of task, like getting into the flow state, your flow state of work, flow state of mind. Same with when writing an essay. Like I do write essays and I do a lot of work for my dis. I know I'm playing this off, but I have actually done like 70 to 80,000 words of research and writing and studying. So I have like done a lot of work. It's just none of it is submittable. But like getting into that flow state of mind and getting the tasks done speeds up so much. Speeds up so much. Right, so now we've tagged all of that. There was one thing I need to do. Oh yeah, publish. And because I'm viewing this in a monthly view, a lot of the time it's actually like the next one across. So instead of like trying to drag and then drag and drag, I just come into here and go due date, because the due date of the project is when this published task obviously needs to be done. So I can come to here and literally just match them. So I'm going to go across and it's the 14th. So you can see I'm planning out 14th of October video, the 13th of September. So literally a month in advance. How advanced are you planning your videos, John?
Oh, you are such something I can't say on stream. And you can shush.
For those of you that don't know, John has a YouTube channel.
I'm gonna kill you. You wait.
Silence.
Yes, I do have a YouTube channel, and it's about to get busy again because.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Right. Right. So I have now gone through the process of planning out my video, and I mean that was really quick. I've planned out a stream, and what have I planned out? I planned out one video. Let's do this video really quick. Signing land no makes human do this formula, and I'll have a. You know what? I will have a look through the formula during the stream, and I will try and explain how everything works. But I haven't looked at it in like 2 days, so my formula brain is going to have to like work. New video template. That's the one I'm looking for.
Haven't you done that before? The biggest mistakes.
Five biggest mistakes were Notion related. So the plan. So this video, the vlog is not going to be a vlog, but I'm trying to work out whether I put me on camera on stream, like on screen or not. Because like when you look at Thomas Frank's video, Ali Abdul's video, like they are on camera and then they suddenly go to Notion and then they go off. And I figured, you know what, let's play around with that and see if it works. I mean, I'm using a webcam, but hey, who cares? Get it done. Got to start somewhere. And the focus of the video is going to be less around like Notion specific mistakes and more about using Notion mistakes, if that makes sense. Right, so there's that. For those of you interested, that's Morning Fame, and that's where I haven't actually used this in like 4 months. So it's just in the template just in case.
Fame is insanely good.
Sorry?
Morning Fame is amazing.
I agree. I use it so much.
Very dangerous.
For those interested in SEO anyway. SEO for YouTube, you could just get sucked in. Right. Yeah, so you can see it's now gone from a green tick to a red cross. Drag all of those down. How many have we got? Yeah, I can do 3 videos a week. That's easy. Screen record over there. Schedule over here. Research even over there. Edit in here. And then we want the record in, where's the record going there? And this is actually sorted by the due date of the project. So if we come to here, due date ascending. So it's sorted by the project, not the task. So if, for example, I decided next week, you know what, I can't make, why am I making 3 videos next week? Yeah, no, let's not do that.
What was wrong with you thinking about the dissertation? Like, I was like, wow.
Yeah, let's not do that. I had 2 videos in there. That was me planning. So this is a perfect example of exactly what I was about to say. I can just drag the bottom videos down because I know that they are the ones that are due latest. So my highest priority tasks are at the top of this. So I know this video, this Notion versus Rome research, which I still don't know if this is going to happen, is before task A comparison. Again, another one I'm not sure if it's going to happen. But yeah, so both of those videos next week are like maybe videos, which is why I've put them on the dissertation week.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the other videos are here. So how many videos we got here? We've got 4 videos here now. Okay, so let's drag this one down. This is planning in action, guys. This is literally me planning out my next 3 weeks. Right here. So I don't do like the whole, I'm going to do a weekly review, or I'm going to plan out my tasks the day before. I'm planning out my tasks for the beginning of October on the 13th of September on a live stream as well. Yep, and then I'm not even going to bother planning that one out because that's so far ahead. Like I'm not going to bother putting the tasks in yet.
Just a point to make on that one with your like planning months and months ahead. Like that's because he's got a routine down. But when you first start, just take it slow. Don't try to do everything at once. Because that is, I think, the biggest mistake that a lot of new Notion users have. They look at your space or my space or August Bradley's or Marie Poulin's, and they go, I want all of these things, and then become really overwhelmed by all the things they're trying to do. This to you takes a few seconds because you built the system and you've really got to like no matter what you do, whether you use one of Danny's templates, buy one of my templates, whether you use August Bradley's Bradley's system, you should always customize it because it's never going to be perfect. And the power of Notion is that it is infinitely customizable.
Yeah.
And take the time to think, does this actually work for me? Because, like, for example, a good example is like your meetings and how I separate mine, you keep yours together. The reason why is because I find that better for me. Even if it's a more efficient way that you do it, for me, I like having that separation, those boxes that I can stick things in and then come to them when I need them. So yeah, it's just making sure that you customize everything you use instead of just thinking, okay, this isn't working now. Well, that's because Notion's bad. It's not. It's because it's not. You've not set it up the way that you need it.
Yeah.
End rant.
So true. Actually, I'm just like I'm keeping an eye on the viewers and going up and down and the rest of it. And I'm curious for those of you that are still here, when it comes to like building things, because I've just seen like obviously we were going over the formula and things like that. This is like a tour of my space, which I mean could go on forever. But last week was a build with me, I guess. And by the sounds of it, you guys want to kind of like see how I'm building formulas from what's in chat, but maybe like everything else. Like, would you prefer to see a build with me session over a look around my space session? I don't know. I mean, whatever helps you guys really. Because yeah, I mean, what's your preference, Jonathan? Would you prefer to see like a tour of someone's space or like a building session, how they build their thought process?
Building session is more, I think, is more valuable. Like, because once you've learned enough about Notion, you don't really, it's useful to see how other people, the value that I've got from many people, most of all, is not when they've been like, oh, this is my space, yay, it's great and all, lovely, but when you see people building and their process and how they think, it's like, oh no, I quite like that resonates with me, that makes sense to me. Those are more powerful because you're like, I quite like that idea. How could I implement that into my system? How could I put that into how can I turn that into something that works for me? And Notion is iterative because I think you and I both have stuff from, August Bradley and Marie Poulin and our own insanity. We have it all in one, like it's kind of a combination of everyone's.
Yeah, exactly.
Just have that like nitty-gritty details.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to like search for some different like build ideas and just like build them on stream as well. Because like, yeah, I mean, I love the conversation. It's great. It's great, but it's like trying to find the value as well. I prefer the build with me because you're much more likely to explain the whys instead of the current status or result peak. Okay, cool. Nice. I will take the feedback. And next week, obviously, I'm haven't planned out the stream for next week.
As you know.
Yes, as you've just seen. So I will. If you've got any ideas of like a build with me, think maybe next week I take bits and pieces from everyone, but you need to know your workflow, adapt Notion. 3 weeks now. Yes, mistake building new database training everyone. I like I'm trying to like read real quick. There we go. Okay, yeah. So next week, what I'll probably do is do like a build with me session, and I may try and rebuild the formula at some point. I don't know whether I do that on a live stream because that would be a lot of troubleshooting. And I mean, the question there is, do I care about the views on the live stream or do I care about the potential value people get from watching me stumble and struggle over doing a formula?
And probably swear.
Yeah, forget about monetizing that stream. I look around places and explaining how they built it, not actually building it, takes too much time. Okay, fair, Roxanne. Speaking in English. So what I'm going to do is go over. Actually, what I can do is go over the tasks dashboard very quickly, projects dashboard very quickly, and then we could talk about this little area. Can we, John?
Was that music?
It's the song that you used in the spaceship. Yeah.
That's close. That's close. He nearly swore, people. He nearly swore. That is my plan. No.
I might have to put in the thumbnail for next week, like, expect swear words.
I found value at watching Danny suffer. That is why I'm here.
Your stumbling and struggling are very valuable. Okay. So, I mean, we still got a bit of time on this stream. I may try and explain the formula on this stream, but I'm definitely not going to rebuild it. How to build a formula with the different steps you take to come to the formula could be handy. Okay, yeah. Building, for example, a database with a formula of how much time is left. Yeah. Right.
I'm doing that one as well.
You've what, sorry?
Left. The time left one. I'm working on something similar myself at the moment. That's fun.
Oh, are you now?
Yeah, I know. Video about
you can just use the date between formula and just like do it that way, but then it's like a date off, and then you can add the other date between formula, but then that's also a date off, and then you can add like a tick and a cross, but then you need to add like nested ifs and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is my task dashboard, which is an area in my space. So I review my area, and I think it was Glenn Gordon, his name began with a G. If you're in chat, I apologize. But he asked last week when I was building this space why I review my task area. And it's because this is a dashboard, which we went over briefly. But like having this is so convenient because I can just tick the task back off if it was done by accident. I don't know whether you have anything like that in your space. Like, do you have like a Yeah, just to be like, oh, I didn't mean to tick that off and go back, rather than having to like sift through your task database trying to find it.
Often when I mess it up like that, I just press Control Z and undo it, and it undoes it quick enough for me to not really care. But yes, I do have a section that says recently done, and also I've kind of set up in my area section. I have in the task area section, I actually have tasks that are waiting on someone else. So then I can see. So when I'm working with clients, if I'm waiting on a response or I'm waiting on my VA or waiting on something that I cannot control, that I have right in the top left where you have your tomorrow tasks, I actually have stuck tasks and say, this is stuck, this is stuck, this is stuck, this is stuck, this is stuck. And then I can review it.
Nice. Did you have that before, or did you like put that into your area dashboard?
I had it before. I think, I don't remember now. It's been so long. I always forget. Do you ever get to the point where you've done something and you're like, when the heck did I do that? And you just look at it and you go, oh yeah, I did that, didn't I? Yeah. When did I add that in? I don't even know anymore.
And that's what happens with a lot of the databases and some of the spaces. I'm like, oh, I have a database in here. When did? Yeah. But yeah, so I have my tomorrow tasks here, and you can see I did this on the stream on Friday with Marie, and Marie was like, oh my god, there's so many tasks there, because I had like the 14 create tasks for blogs, and they were like, it looked like a lot, but this task is just a case of going onto WordPress and going publish. This one I actually don't need to do anything because YouTube does it for me, but it just tells me that I need to put a pin comment in and respond to messages, obviously, when they first come in. These are actual tasks that are going to take time. There's a research stream which we've literally just put in, which that'll take like 5 minutes probably. These tasks are just expanding on ideas. This is basically just blogging. This is basically blogging. This is basically just journaling. So I just like look at this note and go, okay, where was that from? And then just write something about it. It could be short, it could be long. It's just a very quick process. So all of these maybe like 2-3 minutes total. So I can get most of this, like skipping these two out, get most of this done within an hour. Researching this again is really quick. That's a meeting, so that's an actual like Zoom call that I'll be on, and that's a meeting at the end of the day. I apologize for the dog. I cannot control her. She's outside.
It's tried. No.
Well, if I shout, you'll hear me shout. But yeah, so both of these are events which obviously you can see, which go into my calendar. So most of these tasks are really, really quick. But it just means that I can come into here and go, this is all I got for tomorrow. Is it a busy day? Nah, not really. And then if I want to, I can come down here. And that formula that we were talking about is really handy here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you got like when all the tasks are. So this one, even though I haven't done it yet, I know I have 2 weeks on a day to do it. I got 4 days to do this one, but then it's a published task, so that would make sense. Look, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I go 4. You got the yellow emoji for the tomorrows. It will say yellow as well if it's today or yesterday, but there isn't any of those tasks. And this is actually related to the project, not the task, which is where the power comes in for me. So where's... Oh, no, I got rid of it, didn't I? So I sorted it out. So if we go into this one, probably be the... actually, that's a really bad... So actually, no, it would work. It will work. So the formula, this formula is actually in the project's database because it requires the now function and the due date of the project. And so it's using this date and now, the now function, to calculate this in lots of different ways. But I want to see this in my tasks, so I can see in the task view how far the project has left, because I think I said this to Marie as well. I was like, looking at 18th of September, I'd be like, oh, 18th. What's the date today? 13th. That's 5 days. And if it's like further than that, like if it's like 3 weeks or something, I'd look at it like 13th of September. It's due, I don't know, let's pick one of these. And you'd see the date and you'd go, how many is that? That's like 7, 14, 21, 24 days. What's that? 3 weeks and 2 days. Yeah, there you go. 2 weeks, 6 days. Cool. 3rd of October. And previously, I'd look at the 3rd of October and go, I've got time. And that was it. And I'd have to look at it like 13th, right? 13th and 7. How many days have we got in this month? And yeah, it was just not fun, which is why I made this formula, literally the only reason. And then having it in the tasks just makes things so much quicker. And you could, I'm thinking on the fly here. Well, that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. Because you could make that. You could make a different version of the 5 days, but it would be dependent on the due date of the task. So instead of so you'd have 1 week. So this is 1 week for the project, but this is going from today. So how would I be able to do that? So I could look at this calendar and it would say, so the due date of this task is the 15th, but the due date is whenever a week is today. What's the week? So that would be Sunday. What? Oh, that must be the create for the live stream. So instead of it saying 1 week, it would say 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days. So this would say 5 days. So I can look at this calendar and see how many days I have left from the due date of the task to complete it by, because I've already got the roll up of the date in here from the project. So I can already use the due date from the project. And obviously I've already got the due date from the task, and now as a function, so you can use that in any formula anyway. That is something I may have to play with. I'm going to write that down.
That does sound like fun. My brain's just like going,
what do I even call that? Like time to task from do? Yeah, that'll do. I know what that means. That's such a bad explanation and scribbling. But yeah, do you like? I think that makes more sense in this view as well.
yeah,
because then I can look at this and be like, okay, I've got 2 weeks to do that, but that's 2 weeks today, not 2 weeks from here. Oh, that's nice. I like that idea. I like that idea.
Can you scroll up again? I have a question. I'm intrigued to know why you haven't done this. Because I recently did this because it was a really good idea to add how long a task takes. Like on an approximation.
I know how long most of the tasks I do are going to take. So for me, there wouldn't be much of a benefit to do that. Because you're
trying to figure out how long something would take.
Well, how long a project would take?
Well, no, as in how long. So let's say you're looking at this at a glance, and you're like, "Oh, do I have time to do more things? Yeah, okay, I can add a few more things in here and stuff like that." Like being able to see for tomorrow if you could add more things in tomorrow, or do you just look at it as in to say, "Oh, these are all the things I've got to do tomorrow. After that, I can do what the heck I want."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like so this is where the question mark template really comes in handy. basically all of the tasks that I've planned out have a context, an area associated. So the emoji will be associated to the context. This context is a project, not an area, which is why it's writing. This one, context is obviously YouTube, thumbnail, blah, blah, blah. If there's a task that I'm like, I could do that, or I need to do that, or I should do that, it comes into here as a question mark. So this isn't related to, come in here. You can see there's literally nothing on it. It's just a name. Well, in this case, it's a name, but it could be anything. And then it's just got a question mark on it. So it's just like a miscellaneous thing to do. And they will carry over. Sometimes those could be long-ish tasks, but there's no priority on them. There's no like need to do them because there's no project on them. It's just like, oh, that'd be a nice idea. So I know I need to do all of this. And then if I didn't have to do all this dissertation and it was just these three things, and I do those things fairly quickly tomorrow, and I can look into here and come into tasks and go, I'm waiting for Notion. Oh, Lizzie's put something in. What was that? It seems you're busy with a formula I'm fiddling with. What? I've already done a formula that works like the way I was explaining, but there's much less like nuance involved. So there's no tick, there's no cross, the W's not there, the D's not there. It doesn't necessarily work straight away, and some of the other like things wouldn't work. But yeah, it depends how complicated you want the formula to be. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll come in here, say I've done all the tasks for today, it's clean, and I can come in here and go, okay, I've done all these tasks for today. So I can look at this and go, okay, I'll do all those tomorrow. When I actually get those things done, essentially my day is free and I can do whatever I want. That's when I'll start like either playing around with Notion or trying to work out what else I could do. Sometimes I may do tasks that are like the next day. So I've got even less to do like the further on I go, because I've already planned like, so what's today? It's Sunday today. So tomorrow, if I completed all of that stuff, it's not going to happen. If I completed all that stuff today, then on Monday, I complete all of those tasks. So tomorrow, I complete all those tasks that are the same for tomorrow. I could then start doing tasks for Tuesday that are on Monday because I know what they are. So I could do that if I wanted to, or I can play. Like, it's my choice. So the tasks in my database are literally like, they are priority tasks. I need to get those done. Anything else that I may want to do, play with, or anything like that, I can do outside of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Glad that answered. Like Marie was curious about how I manage my tasks as well. So, area. See, look, there we go. I'm on stream and 2 areas. I'm pretty sure I went into YouTube and I planned this area out, didn't I?
Apart from one thing in there's one more thing you had to do, which you're not going to bother doing because it's so far in advance, I think you said.
Oh, yeah, that video. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, so what I typically do is I'll go, okay, I've got these videos planned. I've got these tasks planned. Have I got enough tasks planned for the next week? Yes, I'm good. This week doesn't really matter. So when it comes to next Sunday, what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll look at this and go, yeah, I need to plan out this week. So I'm always 2 weeks ahead in my task planning, and 4 weeks ahead in my project planning, something like that. Yeah, because we were a month ahead, weren't we? So it means that I'm like ahead of time. So what I can now do is go last reviewed. Bump. And now that's no longer ticked, and it will reappear next Sunday. There you go. That's a perfect example. Whoever asked at the beginning about why I have my review in my dashboard there, like when I'm fiddling around with relations and stuff, it's easier to come up here than it is to scroll back down to go to the content of the page and go to the nav bar. So I just thought of that. It's like, there you go. Right. So you can see now the areas is now 1 because it's just the blogging. I'm not going to go through blogging. That's a bit of a pain. I'll wait to do that tomorrow. While I'm taking a break from my dissertation, what I'll probably do is like an hour of dissertation work. My brain will then start to melt and I'll be like, let's do something else. Right. So this is this is like an area. Well, obviously this is an area. This is a project area. This is mainly just to keep on track, or to make that I'm staying on track with everything that I should be doing. So this is a high up view. So these are all of the projects. At the moment, it's just blogging and YouTube. But when I'm doing content marketing, you'll have like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all the work meetings as well that are in here, like consulting calls and stuff. All those projects will be in here. This is filtered. There we go. For is within the next week, and the reason it's within the next week is otherwise it would show literally every project and it would be a big old scroll, which I don't want to see. So I can come into this dashboard very quickly and go, okay, am I on target? All of these are green. Yes. This one's orange, dissertation. Okay, maybe I should carry on with that. So this is just yet another reminder that my dissertation, I need to work on it. I have currently 15 tasks that I've made that I need to do. That may increase, like tomorrow, I may realize, oh, actually, I need to research this thing, and I'll add a task in. If I add the task in and put the dissertation template in, this will go to 16. So I could actually go backwards in progress, in this progress, if I add more tasks on. But most projects, I'll have a set amount of tasks. So it will just gradually go down. And this is the number that it's also filtering for. You see, left is not equal to 0. So that means if I haven't added any tasks, so that project that I've just made, I haven't added any tasks to it. So it says 0. So it's not going to show up here. And everything that I've completed, oh, it would have made sense to go to a project that I've completed, wouldn't it? Duh. Right next door. There we go. So we can come into here. And we come down, and you've got left is 0 because you've got done is 3, total is 3, so it's coming out at 0. So this project, i.e. this stream, before I ticked off the task at the beginning of my dashboard, it would have said I have 1 task left. So this would be over here with a green dot. But now that I've ticked that task off, it comes away from here and comes into here. So instead of it being an active project, because I'm doing it, it's a recently due project. And I say recently due and not recently done because some projects, I know you're going to go on this, and this, I just saw this. I was like, what is that? That's what I made up yesterday, no, Friday. The screen is very hard to see most of the time. Anyway, to make it clearer, maybe zoom in. Ooh, I will try zooming in.
Check also like the quality of the stream, because it's okay on this side. Make sure to check the little cog and turn it to at least, you'll probably want, are you streaming at 1080 or 720?
Good question.
You don't know. Oh, for goodness sake.
I ain't a techie person. I think 720. I think 720 because webcam. Yeah, I think 720.
I'm not a techie person with a formula, goodness knows how long.
Okay, I'm not that sort of techie person. I will zoom in, but it will mess up my dividers.
I love how evilly you grin. It's your evil grin turn now.
It's just like 720 is max. Yeah, I thought it was 720. Yeah, I 720. Yeah, yeah. If I'm gonna zoom out very very quickly, because like I don't know whether it's just you, Dale, but I haven't seen anyone else mention it before. But yeah,
I seem to be okay here. Is anyone else struggling to see?
Yeah, I mean that was one of the, like, I asked at the beginning when we had a load of viewers and no one mentioned it. But yeah, I mean if it does continue to be, huh?
In light mode is when it seems to be worse. It always seems to be that way. Oh, that took a while.
Yeah, it did. The challenges of the screen is a little smaller because the inclusion of both your faces. I like seeing your faces, so it's all good. Ah, good. Happens to me once in a while. Oh, okay. Maybe it's when I'm scrolling and Notion's trying to work out what it's doing. Yeah.
Scrolling adds really bad motion blur on YouTube.
Oh, wow. What happened? I've never used dark mode with a tab bar. What has happened? I don't know whether I like this or not. It's blurry on my end too. Oh, okay. Okay. Don't know. Shall I?
I don't like this. I don't like this for you. I genuinely don't. It's actually looking worse. That's hilarious. It just got okay. I think it might be the stream because it keeps going blurry, then crispy, blurry, then crisper. So it keeps jumping between the two. Oh no! Switch back into the other mode because it went.
I'm trying. I clicked the shortcut like 3 times.
Okay.
And the sidebar's not even coming up, so I can't even do it manually either.
Ding 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Use Control R, I think it is. It will refresh Notion.
You think I haven't done that?
You haven't tried to use Control R to refresh Notion.
I pushed Control Shift L for obviously the dark mode, didn't work. Then tried it again, then didn't work. Then I pushed Control R, and you're seeing what I'm seeing.
Whoa. All
right, let's try and refresh again. All right, there we go.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, apparently it's blurry for everyone. It must just be the quality of the stream.
It
looks like it's still in dark mode. Yeah, because when I watch back on the replay, it seems okay, but that may be because it's like rendered or something. I don't know. All right, let's try this again. There we go.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, oof. Okay. Brightness back. What were we talking about? We were talking about projects. Yes. Yeah. What I'll try and do in future when I have a camera or I have like the ability to do 1080 because 720 is obviously lower than the 4K that everyone else uses. It's probably because everyone's so used to watching like a 4K stream and it's me sitting at 720.
Actually, most people watch it at about 1080. So you'd be good with 1080.
Yeah, maybe I'll try that for next week. See if that makes a difference.
It doesn't matter with the camera because it's so small. Because the cameras are so small. I mean, I'm running this at 4K, but it doesn't look like I'm running it at 4K. The camera's
okay. Wow, I forgot my smiley face.
Oh yeah. Oh God, I didn't put mine up. No.
Yeah, so maybe next week I'll try and do it 1080. Right, yeah. Then as I scroll down, I have
about the completion thing. There was something about like you were explaining why done is not. You don't call it done. You say due.
Yes, I remember now. Thank you, John. Yes, so some projects are a little bit more flexible when it comes to like the due date. So if it's a project that isn't like cemented as a due date, let me think of an example, like a monetization things, like maybe making a template. I want to make a template by a certain date, but it's not like I have to do this. Then it will come up here, recently due, but the progress may not be done. And if it's not done, I'm like, okay, well, it should be. Let me have a look down below and see what's going on. In which case, I'll come down here, and recently due will come up here somewhere. And this is where the red cross for the project comes in handy. So I can come into here. There we go. So you see time left, 1 week, 2 days, red cross. So if the project wasn't done, then it would be a green dot rather than a tick, and I'd see that in the view up there, and I come down here and go, oh, okay, well, it's not done. How long ago should it have been done? Which I can see here, and this is why the formula is a little bit longer because it's got the cross on it. And then what I would do is I would just move the date to something else, and then all of the formulas would work out appropriately, relations and rollups work out appropriately, and then it would no longer be in here because coming to filter, the due date is within the past week. I would have moved the due date in front of, so it wouldn't be showing here. So yeah, that's why I do that.
Cool. I quite like that.
Sorry.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
It's just helpful for like, because some projects aren't as cemented in time, so I can afford to give that leeway. And yeah. So yeah, there's that. And then when I come down here, these are every single project. So you saw in my YouTube space and the blogging space and all the other areas, they're filtered for whatever the area is. This one's not filtered for a thing. So this is every single project. So I know Marie likes to look at like an overarching view of everything she's got on, like everything she's doing, like all the clients she's working with, the courses, the FAQs and stuff like that. I'd imagine you're the same, like seeing all the clients you're working with. Pants.
Beautiful, love it.
Oh, that's going to be an inside joke. I can see it coming. It's just like anyone that comes into the stream, I'm like, pants, everyone. That's what we're talking about today.
We love pants.
Yeah. And for those of you that have just joined or do not know what I'm talking about, projects, areas, notes, tasks, and space repetition. PANTS, pants. Yes, that's the system that I work on in Notion. But yeah, so what I can do here is I can look at every single project that I'm doing. I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound bad. At the moment, I'm not actually doing that many projects because I'm focused on my dissertation. So there's not that much. There's not that much going on, but it looks like there is. So after my dissertation, potentially in a couple of weeks, when I start picking up some of the other things, you'll see 3 projects in a day, and they'll all have different colors. Like you can see, you've got the crosses here. So there you go. These are monetization. That's a monetization thing that obviously I really need to do something about. What is going on here? I probably have a tasks. Like, there you go. I got 3 tasks. Yeah. So there you go. I have a project that I've completely got.
He's going to do a membership. He's going to do a membership on YouTube.
Just because it's there doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah, but you could have got away with taking a task then, but it's fine.
Yeah, maybe. Troubling statement. I like your dashboard, but do you have your pants set up? I'll have to ask that. Like whenever I get a guest on stream that doesn't know the joke, I'll have to use that. Like, I like your dashboard. Do you have your pants set up? I've just thought, like, so this is kind of like insider information. I've spoken to Thomas Frank quite a few times on Twitter, and I've spoken to Ali Abdul as well, and I've spoken to a couple of other like bigger YouTubers. I don't know whether like I get them on stream. Ideally, I'd love to get them on this stream. I don't know whether they would find much time to come on a stream this small, being like 1 million sub and 2 million sub and the rest of it. But going over their workspace would be so good, especially like Thomas Frank with his note-taking system. I was like, I need to put this video out. If you haven't seen it, I've done a video on his system. And Ali Abdul, like when he did Abdul, sorry, I got told the other day, it's not Abdul, it's Abdul, my bad. But yeah, he did a video on the resonance calendar thing. I'm like, yeah, but you don't review it. So just talking with those guys about Notion would be really cool and nerdy, I'm sure. But if I was to get them with that joke.
So everybody, can you just retweet like Ali and Thomas and just say we want to have like a stream with Danny and come on stream, Danny?
Yeah, like, can you stream your Notion workspace with the Notion nerds, so they can talk to you about some really serious planning and productivity.
Do you know what we should do? We should start like, I don't know, like some videos or do you see where I'm going now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, well, like Matt Diavella's done the whole thing with The Rock, like getting The Rock on his podcast. Maybe we should try something similar, get like Ali or Thomas to come on and be like Notion nerdy with us.
Yeah,
I saw a Twitter thread with Ali. Ali was saying with who is it? There's another smaller YouTuber, like his name begins with a D. I can't remember his name. Like Yeah, I can't remember his name. But he was tweeting at Ali and be like, Ali, if you do all the Notion videos, then you'll leave nothing for us. And Ali responded something like, yeah, but I can't afford to do these videos because there's such a small audience compared to everything else he talks about. Like when you look at Thomas Frank's note-taking video, it's got like, I'm going to say it's only like 150,000 views. But the other videos he's doing, it's like 350, 400,000. So they can only do those videos like a couple of times, but they want to be nerdy about it. And I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity for you guys to get like Notion nerdy with us. That'd be a good time to have like a group-ish stream as well. Like imagine that Ali Abdul, Thomas Frank, and both of us on stream at the same time.
Oh, that has to happen. Like, please, guys.
Like they both talk to each other as well. They both talk to each other about Notion as well.
That'd be so cool.
But yeah, we're like way in this like the 24-hour stream still hasn't happened.
No, that's it.
Yeah, that is going to be an idea in my note database, and I'm going to tag it with live streaming. There you go. That's what'll happen.
That's exactly what I was going. I need to tag that in my notes database and then do that. Yeah, I know.
Yep. Right. So that is tasks, projects, and this. I mean, this is right at the end of the stream, which is why it kind of makes sense to put this in. Oh, this is perfect timing as well because like 2 hours is like I feel like 2 hours for me is like the time where I'm like, okay, this is a good stream. Let's not spend another like 4 hours talking. So for those of you that are still hanging around or have just joined, Nathan. You're Nathan now. Jonathan, there we go. Jonathan and I are thinking of planning of what are we calling it? Are we
so are.
We so are. Basically, we're doing a podcast. Like
could have hyped that up a little bit more.
Yeah. Wait, go on. You do I mean your intro was like
it's too bloody late now, isn't it?
Rewind. Wait, okay. How would you explain the podcast?
Basically this, but we're not going to hold back and we're going to talk about anything Notion, anything productivity, and we're going to nerd out for probably what people don't see is our conversations after the stream, which on the first time I came on, it was, what was it, 2-3 hour actual stream?
Yeah, I think it was like, because we spoke for half an hour before the stream, spoke for 2 hours 40, I think the stream was.
Yeah.
And then like 2.5 hours afterwards.
Yeah. And so basically, it's like that, but we're doing an audio and video and channel, which I'm setting up on Monday because it's in my task database to set up on Monday.
Nice. Actually, I'm curious. So I'm not actually any longer in my space. I'm actually in the combined workspace of both of us, and this is the link that Jonathan used to get here, to get with us. Is your task database linked here?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was and I couldn't see it, or if it just wasn't.
No, it wasn't because I used the wrong email address.
Notion Pro right there. Yeah, but you should still be able to link it in.
Yeah, but I can't see it, can I? And I can't assign tasks to me because, like,
because you got. So if it's a different email, it's just a different workspace, isn't it? Because you've got like you can have different emails in the same thing anyway now, can't you?
Yeah, you can now, but I have to. I have to invite me into this workspace and my actual email into this workspace, and because it's a team workspace, it's a paid workspace, and I don't want to spend an extra bit because I'm a muppet and chose the wrong email address. That's basically it. I just want to save myself 10.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Lizzie's just said she'll be a subscriber.
We're gonna have loads of fun. It's like this, but I suppose it's Notion Nerds Uncensored.
I'm changing it now.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, this is now going to show my inability to spell. How do you spell censored? Is it a C or an S?
I can't spell either.
Is that?
C. It's a C. Once I see someone else write it, unsecured, unsecured.
Oh, I almost saw then. Poo. It didn't tell me. Thank you.
You had C, I think.
I'm an academic, honest.
ENS.
SORD.
Censored. Uncensored. Uncensored and insecure.
I'm just going to copy it off stream because I don't know how to work it out. There we go. Oh, dear.
Do you know what? That's a brilliant title.
Notion Nerds Uncensored and Insecure.
I love that way too much to not keep that.
Oh, my cheeks are starting to hurt from smiling. Oh, dear. Like, we can't see what you guys are doing on the other end because obviously we're on stream. You guys could be sitting there with like the most serious faces, like,
what are they talking about?
Yeah.
I came on serious.
This is definitely like, I know a lot of my subscribers, it got like, I think it's like 38%, 25 to 34. I'm 23, so most of you guys are like older than me, Jonathan. And then there are some like, I think like the next bracket is like 20%, something like that, is younger. And I feel like this is definitely tailored towards the older audience.
Is it?
Gail's laughing off his chair. Okay.
Second sub on that podcast. Brilliant.
2. Nice. I don't even remember why I came here now.
I don't know either.
I came here, I was going to show something. Oh, I remember. I was actually the process, like, I'm not in my workspace. So I've used the tab bar to jump out of my workspace rather than having to go up here to my sidebar and click into here and blah, blah, blah. And I can jump straight back to my workspace from here. So I can jump backwards and forwards between the two. And the other thing, I don't know why I use my finger, but the other thing is this is podcast. Oh, we've got a composer going. Go on, keep it going. I don't know what the music is because copyright and all that, but yes. So this is so different. Like I said to Marie, I think it's towards the end of the stream, I'm like, I'm streaming on Sunday. It's going to be with Jonathan, and it'll be a similar conversation.
No, it won't. Never is. You knew that. Come on.
I've got to give Marie some credit. I reckon if Marie wasn't on, because I feel like Office Hours is more of a serious podcast. It's like this is Notion. This is a structured kind of thing. So it's like you're less.
Right. When I'm messaging Marie and are inviting her onto an episode here, where we will see how much she can cope with how utterly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I know Gail was in the stream on Friday. And I think Roxanne was there. I'm not sure. I know Torin was, and like me and Marie Marie and I, sorry, grammar, talking. It was like it worked, but I was like, I kind of need to stay on topic because this is on the Notion channel, and like it's like I need to kind of be serious, but yeah, but yeah, having her on this stream would just be like so relaxed. Excuse me. Yes. So as we scroll down, you can see the dashboard layout is exactly the same. It's still the same. Like I've got my planning, I've got my notes. This is actually a funny thing that I'll actually explain because Jonathan, you may get like nerded out with this as well, like me. But this is the episodes list. So this is actually a database in the other workspace.
Yeah.
And just to prove it, I'm going to click on this. There we go. We're now in the Notion Nerds workspace. So what I've done is I've embedded this database in my own workspace, and now I'm going to have to go through all the tab bars to get back to where we were.
This is actually what I do with my retainer clients. Most of them are my Notion clients first, and then they move into tech. And I actually just embed their task database filtered and assigned to me, so I don't have to keep jumping between workspaces.
Yeah.
Because nobody got time for that.
No, especially with the amount that like we have. Yeah, so what I've got is I've got this embedded in my space here. So instead of having my projects database, I've got this one. And depending on how formulas work and how Jonathan and I actually work this database out, I may put some formulas in there, or Jonathan could build the formula instead.
Was that a dig? Was that a dig there?
No. As you note, the pitch goes up. And then I got my task database, but this is actually my task database. And then because we haven't actually planned anything out because we're really good, I have a dummy page.
Right.
And then, like you can see, this is like the beginnings of the thing.
You know what? That needs to be our first episode. Dummy page.
Yeah, literally, like anyone that plays around with Notion will understand that. Dummy page in Notion.
That's our best topic.
Does the formula work? Does the relation work? Does the roll-up work? What does the template look like?
We're going to have chats about this afterwards. I think that would be a really good first episode. Like, just because everyone wants to see us trying to bug fix stuff. So let's talk about
the amount of dummy pages I use.
Same.
But yeah, so is it, the way I'd work this, or I plan to work this, I was actually going to talk to you about this off stream, but we might as well talk it now because then everyone else can sort of like hear our thoughts. Is like in my space, I have the relation to the tasks. So this would be my task relation, right? But I know because we've spoken about this before, it's split. So you'll have your task database. I have my task database. Now, this is self-referenced and blah, 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 complicated Notion stuff, or sort of. But this is like a replica of my project's database template. So I've got my task database linked here. And it's filtered for podcast contains dummy page. So I can do the exact same, because that's the name of this episode. So I can, whenever we create a podcast, I can come in, click, drag and drop, and it goes to my task database. And then it will be related here. Now, if you'd set up your email properly, you'd be able to do the same thing over here, which is what I thought.
The email, so shush.
Whatever your process is. But then you'd be able to relate.
For goodness sake.
But then you'll be able to relate your tasks, which are here, into your task database, and then we'd have a relation up here for John, and then I could, because the way my task database works, it works on a tick box. So I have a roll up of done, and then it will be John, how many tasks you've got to do, and then a roll up of done, and then we can use a formula to add those together to say how many tasks we've done, and we can use a formula to say how many tasks we have in total. And then because we've got the done task and we've got the total task, we can do a formula which works exactly the same on my database or your database. I mean, we could have like a rainbow system instead of just like 5 colors. We could have like all the colors of the rainbow, or we could go like an orange for complete, like an actual like orange emoji. And
I get why you're going on about this because of colors again. There we go.
That wasn't actually intentional, but yeah. Suggested title: Notion for Dummies, dummy page. That is. Yeah. But yeah, so you see where this is going as the project, and then like the rest of the stuff that you put in there that I didn't really look at, I just sort of left it there. Sorry, I'm going to be honest, like honesty, consistency, and the communication. I almost forgot my own 3 values, and honesty, consistency, and communication. Like, it's what you got to do. So I've actually come into this space, but to show you how it works, I want to go into my space, so I don't actually have to go into here to plan out a project. So I could actually plan out a podcast episode the same way I plan out my YouTube videos. I just have to be careful not to enlarge the page, because then I will go into your space. Well, our space. Right. So you can see we've got ideas. So if I was to have an idea, I can just drag it down and then it'll go into here. So this was actually a practice transfer. So that's why it's called practice transfer, because it was in here. So I created it in here. So it has podcast area related because I made it on my dashboard. I have a podcast template, which attached the area to it. Did I make the template or did I not? No, I haven't made that template yet because I was playing around with it. So it attaches the area to it. And then what I can do is I can go, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Practice transfer is a podcast idea. Yeah. And now it's in here, but because we've got no properties, nothing shows. But it's just an easy way to move my ideas from my space to our space, so we can both see them. And then when we're in here, let's create a new.
Why don't we use Gail's? Yeah, that's what I was saying. There you go.
Yeah, I thought of that.
All right, let's talk about it. Seriously, go.
Right. Grow up. Oh, the sarcasm is rich. I'm gonna have to make that big because I can't drag them. Oh, I'm gonna have to use my shortcut to get back. Yeah. So now I can click and drag these into my task database. Now I'm going to use the control and the square bracket key to get back to this page. So I'm back into my space now. And you can see these are those tasks. Now, at the moment, these tasks are related to the project here. And that's it. Now, in my space, I attach the area, I attach the context, I attach the due date and the rest of that with that drag. But I can't do that in the template because I can't have a self-referential filter for a relation in my workspace in someone else's workspace because Notion just can't find it. And it's the same with the due date. So well, it's not the same with the due date. I could put the due date on, but for this sense, it's just easier. So this is looking for any tasks that are podcast is not empty. So all of my tasks will have a podcast relation because for the self-referential filter for these tasks. So if podcast is not empty, i.e., no idea what that was about. It's not my birthday. Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So if podcast is not empty, i.e. the task is related to a podcast, it will show up here. So instead of having an areas filter, I have this is like a task filter. And then I have area is empty because why did I have areas empty? Oh yeah. So that I can tag it later on with this. So area contains podcast. So the reason I have areas is empty is because if it's a active podcast, right? So if this was an active podcast, it would have an areas relation. But if that's true, then in this view, it would show me every single task that is related to an active podcast, which I don't want to see. So I have that filter for area is empty so that I can tag it here. So I can now go here and then drag it down to here. So what I've now done is added that area tag on because I couldn't do it in John's workspace. And I didn't want to do it in that top one because then I would get all of the tasks, which I don't want all of them. So now I've tagged podcast with it and it's related to this. And now I know I need to action those. So I'm going to go down to my task database. I can come in here. And now I can go view, 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 view. And now when I scroll up, I'll move those in a second. It's disappeared from here because now I've got a due date. So now I know I've processed those tasks and I need to do them for whenever. And the reason I've done it this way is so that whenever we create a new podcast, this is only going to show tasks that are related to podcasts that we haven't like started actioning. What are your thoughts on that workflow?
I like it.
Yeah, it's just like because of the restrictions with the different workspaces, it just allows me to go drag, drop, and then move them wherever. And now it's in my space with all the tags associated. So. But yeah, so that was me kind of like nerding out about automated filters and things like that. And actually, before we wrap the stream, actually, have you got any questions about that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, well, you or the stream. The stream looks pretty content. Have you got any questions about that workflow? How have you done it, or have you not worked on that bit yet?
I haven't worked on that bit yet.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, so before we go, I am actually going to go into the long formula and give you a very quick rundown. Maybe next week I'll go over.
Just a point to say. I remember someone who about maybe 15-ish minutes ago went, 2 hours is a pretty good time to end the stream. And now we're like 15 minutes over, and you're like, just one more thing.
That's so true. That's so true. Right, this is the last thing. Oh, there you go. There's an example. the yellow thingy. What's it called? A hazard sign. I feel like the podcast is just going to be a load of like random words mushed together.
Yep.
It's just like just Google random words and just throw it into a sentence. Right. So let's try and dissect this. You should be able to see the emojis. Like there you go. There's the cross emoji for the projects that are overdue. There's the tick emoji for the projects that are like right, like ahead of time. Like I have time to do this project. This is the project has been done. Like this is post. This is date needed. Yeah. So what's going on? So the due date equals from timestamp to number. So this is a very yellow thingy. Sam, I haven't seen you in chat. I don't know whether you've just joined us, but yeah, the yellow thingy, the hazard sign. Actually, I didn't even look at where the hazard sign was. Some of the emojis don't show up properly, and they just show up as stupid green text.
Isn't it?
And I'm like, where is the emoji? Oh, there it is. There they are. Tomorrow, yesterday. I want to track my sleeping time. Can we have recurring task database? Can you have recurring tasks? Yes. In lots of different ways. Want to track your sleeping time? Obviously, you can't track your sleeping time in Notion because Notion isn't like wearable on the watch and measured stuff. So if you want to have like your tracking, you would have it on, I assume, a watch or something, and then you'd get your number for time, like 8 hours. And I probably wouldn't use recurring tasks for that. I would just use a database, and I will quickly go back to my daily reminders because this would be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
Rather than doing the whole formula fun stuff or moving the task down a day or whatever, I would just do it this way, and just have like sleep as a property and just have a number in there. And this is just a database that forget all the long filters. This is just a database that says date is today. That's all you'd need. And then it's just going to show you like one day. So yeah, so if I come into here, what you'd have is you've got the date, so that's date today, and then you just have sleep and then your number in there, and then every day you can just like add that in so you can track it. And then if you want to see an overall view, you can go into the database. I want to manually put it in my in journal. Yeah, so this would be like your journal database, and you'd see, well, you can see more than one day. I personally only want to see the day I'm on, and then you can see it here. So I've got loads of tick boxes, but you would have like, say you got like a number property. I'm not going to add it now, but say you got a number property for sleep, like Zeds or something, whatever. And you just have like 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, 7 hours, 7.5 hours, 5, whatever, going down. So that's how I would do it.
Database.
Sorry?
That's another database.
Okay, fine. Fine.
Sorry.
Pants duh.
Well, panda with another P. Just pants.
Actually, what was the other database you mentioned? Because that's the daily reminders. There was another one that you mentioned that was like hidden away.
I laughed in my head. P. What was it? No.
Because the reading database, there's one there.
Oh, so that's another.
Was it the reading database? Oh, maybe I can't remember. just add loads of letters together, just mangle it all together.
Oh, there was another.
It doesn't count as a database. I mean, it's literally, no, it just doesn't count. I'm not counting it.
There's another one that's bugging me. What is that P? There's another one.
Again, can I ask another thing? Yeah, sure, go for it. I mean, we were going to stop 20 minutes ago, but I mean, we'll carry on talking anyway.
CRM, people.
Oh, people.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sfannyland. Svan. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. How would you say that, Jonathan?
I just did say Savannahland. I assume that's correct.
Yeah, that's how I've been saying it. And it just doesn't sound right. But then that may be just because I'm English or British or whatever you want to call me.
What I want to tell you, I can't say on stream.
Yeah, whatever the Brexit politics stuff is.
Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there. This is not go there. This is a Notion stream.
Notion stream, right, yeah, okay. Yeah, so Chandra, ask as many questions as you want. Yeah, people. Right, so let's go back into this lovely looking formula that's just beautiful. So what this is doing, this from timestamp to number nothing is basically a formula cheat to say date 0, like date empty. To briefly explain it, to number, so I'm turning nothing into a number so the timestamp can read it, and the timestamp is read by a formula as a date property, and it needs to be looked at as a date property because I'm comparing it to an actual date property here. I want my journal to auto-populate certain activities which I do daily basis in journal. It would depend what your activities are. If they're activities you're doing every single day, then I would have them as a property, like I've had for my clean teeth, drink water type thing, and then just populate the numbers in there and have them as properties. You could have them auto-populate as a template and use the template in the database if you want to do it that way. But it would depend what the activities are. Are you trying to say something, or am I hearing a bit of replay?
You're hearing a bit of replay.
Okay. Yeah. Dying on my throat. Yeah, so that's just one check basically to say that I need to put a date in for the project basically. Then we have this one. So this is, let me have a quick read through, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so this is, because of the way Notion works with due dates, what I've done is I've formatted, so you see format date, I formatted the due date. So that's the due date, which is here. So that's the due date of the project. I formatted that in day, month, year. So it's showing whatever it is, 06, 01, 2020, something like that, and asking if that is equal to now, and then the same format. Because if you ask if due date equals now, it messes around with some of the other formulas, and the date format doesn't quite work. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty because we ain't got time for that. But yeah, so if that's true, basically this check is to say if the due date is today, put today. And then this one is a similar process. Similar process, but different formula. So date between then and now. So the due date and now is due date plus 1 equals 1. So that's just some maths to fangle around, basically saying, is the due date tomorrow? If it is, put tomorrow. I will try and explain this formula when I'm building this formula next week, if I do build it. Yeah. I use templates, but I try to link it to a certain database where I can see them all together. Yes, so if you're going to use relations with your journal, then I would have your, what are you tracking? Habits, isn't it? Is it habits or tasks? Or was it? Sleeping, recurring, can I ask another thing? I want to populate activities. Yeah, so I'd have your activities as properties. So as these, so each activity you're going to do daily, have them as properties in your database. That way, when you relate your journal to whatever it is, a weekly agenda or review database, you can use a roll-up to bring that information there. Hopefully that makes sense. Would you do it the same way, John?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You wanted to try and be different, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, you could do it with tasks itself, but then you'd have to do the dragging and then the dropping, and that's just too much effort. So yeah, I would do the same. I would just have, but it depends on how many activities you're doing. That's the thing that gets me. If it's 30, 40 activities you're doing a day, that is way too many properties. No, thank you. They would be daily tasks that I would drag in and assign as a task and then have it set as today. That's how I would do that. If it was more than, say, 7, 8, or 9, or
I would go with if it goes longer than the width of my screen.
Yeah.
That's just me, because I don't like scrolling.
Oh gosh, me neither. Anyway, that's fine.
We lazy. Right. So I want your opinion on this. I actually had this in my scratchpad. Lasductive. Lazy, productive. Lasductive. I got really bored.
Is that when you were not doing your dissertation?
Maybe.
Anyway, carry on. Come on, Formula Man.
Yes, right. We got to tomorrow, didn't we? And then yesterday, believe it or not, is basically doing the same thing as the bit beforehand, but basically says, is the date between due date, i.e. the due date of the project, and now -1 days. And if it is, then it's yesterday. So these 3 checks basically say, is it today? Yes. Is it tomorrow? Yes. Is it yesterday? Yes. If it is, it will put the appropriates. I'm trying to track my every hour. Hourly journal is hourly log. Ooh, okay.
Ooh, that's fascinating. I like that. You can take this one first. It's your stream.
Yeah, that would be a case of time blocking.
Yeah.
That would be like time blocking in Notion, which can be done in a couple of different ways. You don't have to do it in a database. You can do it out of a database, but then rolling up the information is harder. To have everything roll, if you're doing the same activities every single day, I mean, there's a couple of ways I can think of doing it, but they wouldn't be pretty and they wouldn't be nice, and there'd be a lot of scrolling and a lot of clicking and dragging. Because essentially each day you would need a new entry to have the roll-ups work. So I would probably go in that case. Because if you do the tasks click and drag, you wouldn't have the ability to review unless it was a different database. So you'd need 3 databases, one for the review, one for the journal, one for the tasks. But then those tasks are going to be recurring tasks. And how are you going to roll up all of those recurring tasks to get the information where you want it to see? And then how would you associate an hour to those tasks? Because you'd have to put like a time on every single task. But then if you're doing that manually, like every single time you do a task, you have to manually input the date and the time and include time and put whatever it was in, which that's just a pain. You can't automatically put a time in because there's no filter for that. So the time would have to be either a property. So you'd have to have 24 properties with each property being an hour. Well,
there's still problems there, but yeah, you could use a select property for each hour. I have done that before, but I've never had not quite like this, not an hourly journal. Yeah, I would have a daily journal, and then this is good. I like this.
Yeah, because if you've got a day and if you have a select property, you'd only be able to select that property once, but you've got 24 hours. So you'd need it to be a multi-select.
Well,
so so potentially using a multi-select for each task, and then you could have another multi-select for all of the tasks in that day. So you could select the task and then select the time for the task, but then it's only going to work. So then you'd have 2 lists of tasks. You'd have a multi-select list and then a time list for each of those. How would you roll that up? You would be able to roll those up, but you'd roll one up, roll the other one up. Then you could see what's going on. But how you would show that information, I really don't know. You'd probably need a formula to format that so that you could see it in a view.
And then have it as a list.
Yeah. Not 24 hours. I'm still human, but at least 10 hours. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably how I would go about it, having 2 multi-selects in a property. So each row of your journal is still like a day. So you still get the date on the day, then have the multi-select as, you know what, I'm in Notion. Why don't I just do it? Just do it. Sorry, guys, about that formula. And sorry for finishing at 9. Oh, no, I didn't want to click on. Come out of there. Trackpad. Table. Let me drag. Let's make it big. I've actually debated about putting a template button in my Scratchpad just so that I don't have to do that wide bit.
Same.
Should we go activities? I'm going to hear multi-select. I don't ever use multi-select time. I don't know if it's going to keep up with me. I'm just going to put... No, I didn't think it would. 2, 3. Ah. Remove. Let's try again. 2. Enter. 3. Enter. 4. I'm only going to... Oh, I've already done 4. There we go. 5. Activity. I'm just going to call it A, B, C, D, and then we want E, don't we? There we go. Right. Then we want a date property because it's a journal. Let's say this one was today. There you go. People that wanted to build with me. There we go. We're building right now. Okay, so we've got
13, 12, 14.
You what? Yeah. See, this is how my brain works, okay?
Same, it's fine. I'm only laughing because you're exactly the same reaction as me.
DM, I don't even know what to type. Oh, journal, that's what it is. I was like, what is this thing? Let's just put some random... I need to be able to reference it. It's a relation. Let's just put a load of ands. There we go.
You're going to look back at this in like a few weeks' time. What the heck are all these ands?
Nah, it's in a scrap page. All I got to do is go to my dashboard and delete the page. See, I've done this before. What am I referencing? I'm referencing this.
Journal T.
Let's go both ways. We probably won't need both ways, but I'm going to do it anyway. Wait, I've referenced the same thing. I'm stupid.
Yes, I was just wondering what the heck you did.
I'm stupid. Chandra, honestly, I know what I'm doing.
He's a professional. I'm just the sidekick.
Oh, that's just going to wind me up now. I actually have to like... Okay, I'm okay with that. How many is it? 4.
How much is that property name annoying you?
The property name's actually okay. It was the T on the end of journal that was just irritating. Okay, so we've got activities, we've got time. Let's just put some random activities. BD, ADE, or just AE. Let's just go with that. We only want a couple of times. So ideally we'd want it after because that one's it's going to be like hour 0 here and go along. So that'll be 1 and then let's go 3. Yeah, there we go. So that was at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. There we go. A is at 1 o'clock. E is at 3 o'clock. That's fine. Let's go. I was trying to work out what this database was, which is why I was like, what am I going to call it? Weeks. See, that now makes sense.
Yeah, a little bit more. I was wondering what you were doing as well.
Oh, I ain't typing that tons. Copy paste. And Chandra, once I've made this, what I might actually do is just make it into a template so you can just duplicate it. So I'm going to, you can see, there we go. We've got the journal and the hat keys. Let's go with that.
Hat keys.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to go with. Right. Wrap text. So it doesn't look stupid. Let's bring a roll up in. Activities, come to here, go journal, property, activities. Actually, we want all of them, don't we? Excuse me. Oh, yeah, because it's going to... Oh, that's a... Not fun.
Well done. Nicely saved.
Bottoms.
I was looking at what you do, going, no, that's not going to work.
No, because this is what I had in my head, and I was like, this is why I need to play around with this. So that's going to be time, because what I had in my head was you could then format that with formulas. Duh. You can format. Oh my god, it's a pain in the bum. So you'd need a way to differentiate between the days, unless you know. Oh, see you, Roxanne. I realised we sort of went over, but yeah. So
this
we
is the last thing we're talking about.
I still haven't got over. I got the hang of it. Thanks for so much pain. Right, so we have to go week, and then we go. Wait, what am I doing?
I don't know.
Jonathan, you're meant to be helping me.
I'm just watching you going, what are you doing right now?
Right. I assume this is the same process you had in your mind.
I'm not sure what you're trying to do right now. I'm just trying to figure it all out.
No, so the idea was you have your activities, you track your activities, and then you track the time. So you got the time. So we had multi-selects in the things. So this is one day, right?
Oh, it's because it said reminder that put me off. That's why.
Oh.
Each of them were days. No, that's the only reason why I couldn't understand what you were doing. You don't have to change it. It's not a problem. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So now is this what you were thinking?
BCDE 140. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I got like that.
You can go back to divergence. Yeah. So this is what I had in my head, and then what I had was like a formula to say, I don't know, this and that and stuff, and yeah, format, fun.
I love how you're like, I had a formula that said this and that, and I'm not making it in this stream.
Well, like, I've got a formula going in my head, like prop activities, and then split it, and you got this, and then you can, yeah.
But how would you attach it to the time, though?
Because it already is. Because this one is attached to this one, so you format it. That's what I was saying, like with the formatting, because you can bring this one and this one together with the format of the property.
True.
Yeah, so it looks like Chandra's got the exact same thing as we've done.
Cool. Awesome. Well done.
We're on the same page. We're on the same page.
Well, I'm not on that page. I'm on a different page, but still, we all understand each other.
Yeah. Yes. Because we got that, and I got that. Because you can you split them? Can't you? You could. I mean, the way I'd probably do it is just display that on top of that in like a gallery view, if you know what I mean. Because
that's what I would do. I would gallery view it. I wouldn't bother with a formula.
No, like when it comes to like the formula, I just like add like an AM or PM on the end of this or whatever it was. I guess it depends. What else did they want to do? Did they want to track? I don't know how they wanted to see the information. Like Chandra, how do you want to see the information? If you just want to see it like this, then obviously you've kind of already got. If this is what you've done, and sort of like you've got what you asked for, I'm gonna scroll back on chat and see if it's the right thing. Auto populate certain activities when I do daily basis and journal. Auto populate. So that was the original thing. Auto populate. So if you want to auto populate activities you're planning on doing, then you can just have a filter. Then you can have a filter or have it as a template. So how I would filter this.
I would filter that. That's how I would do it. Because then every day you add it, it would automatically say all the activities you were trying to do. It would then say, and then I assume, Chandra, you're going to add the time in afterwards. So the activities go in first, and then the time is what you set yourself manually, I would assume.
I was just binge watching your videos. Appreciate it. Hopefully you've got something out of it. Yeah, so we've got like the filter. Like so I see, like some people watch my videos and then they're like, oh yeah, I've watched loads of your videos, and then they ask me a question of one of the videos that they watched, and I'm like, I'm confused. If you've watched the video, did you not understand it, or you know what I mean? Like I say, I'm honest, I'm blunt. They're just like, yeah.
Do you remember that title of Uncensored and Insecure? This is working beautifully for us right now. Did you get some use out of my videos? I'm just like writing all these videos, and I got my I don't know why I've got really demonstrate them up. So basically, earlier we said after 2 hours the stream is good.
40 minutes later. This is just like our conversations on like Zoom. It's like, I just need a quick chat, like a quick 10-minute chat. 2 hours later, shit.
You swore.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have sworn. My bad. Sorry, that was on the podcast. Woo, breathe.
We are both professionals. We both get paid for doing this. We are actually very good at this.
All I've done is like 2 roll-ups in a relation. Oh.
But this is the last thing. Yes, that's what you said. And what's funnier, what is really just absolutely beautiful about this, you haven't finished going through the formula.
I was about to say that. Oh, I'm crying. Oh, yeah. Who's had a serious stream before? Oh dear. And this is exactly why I stream. Like, forget money, forget views. Oh dear. Composure. Right.
And we think Ali Abdul is going to come on our channel.
I assume he does laugh, because if he doesn't,
Oh,
I need a drink. I just had an image then of me laughing, just. You get paid for laughing. Not yet.
No, not quite.
Well, if people buy my templates because they think I'm competent at Notion,
you're not selling yourself very well here. They think I'm competent at Notion.
Well, I don't think I am really. I mean, I've done 2 roll-ups on 1 relation, and I haven't managed to explain a formula. Oh dear. Right, I might just do a reject formula just to prove that, like, I do know Notion. Not that it's going to be helpful at all. And now what?
No, I give you rejects.
And now watch me fail.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Yep. I hate it when Notion does that. There we go. So activities. Oh, here we go. Which bracket is it? I really can't focus right now. We're looking at activities. Let's get rid of A.
That wouldn't work.
Yeah, I got everything but A. Yes, I took rid of like B, C, D, E, B, D, E, and it left me with the 2 A's, and that's what I wanted.
But how would you make that work in this context? Or are you just showing that you can use regex so that you sound like you know what you're doing?
A bit of both. But like, so the process would be, so I would use this to grab like all the A's, and then I would like length it. So now I know I've done activity A twice.
Oh, okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do. That's kind of cool. I quite like that.
I mean,
no, that wouldn't work, because if he's auto-populated, I think he's actually gone, but we're still going.
I'm interested. But yeah, I mean, it sounded like
he's auto-populating the tasks, isn't he? So it's not that he's done it. It needs to have the activities and then the time for it to be marked as done.
Okay, but if the activities go in different places, then all of this changes.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. It depends how he wants to see the information. I'm just going to leave it with yeah. And you know what? I'm going to put it in my templates. Just because. Move to.
You're using the move to. That's beautiful. You didn't use the shortcut.
I haven't done this in so long. Is that the right one? I don't think that is. I don't even know. No, because that's a page. That's a page. That's not. I think it's this one.
Is it?
I don't know. If this doesn't work, guys, this is because I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, woo, I got it right. See, I know.
You know what you were doing. I'm sorry.
Whoever's
It was
looking at it will know.
It was the two hats. Oh, and the emoji has to be a hat.
Oh dear, right. Let's delete that for a sec. Let's bring the tut back. See, look, there you go. That's a perfect example of a template. I've got the in progress in there, so people don't suddenly just go in here. I have related video. This is my channel because there's no video related to this in the slightest. Blocks table because I always use tables. Oh, it's a copy. I really don't care anymore. Actually,
hat.
Yeah, but how?
No, you just put a hat. You can't use a symbol.
Hat.
There we go, beautiful.
That'll do. Complete. And I used a multi-select. So you can actually see like how I make, like this is what I do. Like when I'm playing around with things, this is pretty much what I do. But I don't actually do it on my space. I do it in here. So that's a multi-select. Date. And these are like, so I'm relating this to my properties database, which is also public. So if people want to know how to use these properties, these are rolled up in that space for people to see.
I've laughed too hard right now. I'm now in pain.
Oh yeah, we've got a roll up, don't we? We've got a roll up and a formula.
Yeah.
We've got a roll up. Huh?
And top hats.
Oh dear. People come for Notion and they just get like laughs. What's formula in there? It's length and replace all, yeah. If any of you are ever bored and you just want to see what I've been playing around with, come into here and just explore. Right, let's get back to my space. Keep up the good vibes. Started Notion and watching a few weeks ago. Came from using To Do. Catchyism? You convinced me to buy a template. Okay. I think I've only got like 2 for like purchase. The rest of them are all free because I'm a good business person.
I got plenty of temptation, but no, I don't.
Right, let's actually go over this formula, and I'm going to try and like get through it in 12 minutes. No one distract me.
I'll leave that, shall I?
That's the roll up. I can't even look at the
Yeah, I was thinking you're in the roll up.
Why did I do that? I could have just gone into the relation to go to.
This is why we stopped the streams at 2 hours.
See, this is what happened. Like it was at this point that people were asking me to make formula. Like this is when I was talking to you about this before stream. Like last week, I was building my space and I was having to build. Like I was actually having to think at this far into the stream, and I was like, brain mush brain, no English, just no words,
No working.
Right. So we've done the basic checks, like need a date. This is today. This is tomorrow. This is yesterday. Now, all of this is one question, right? So all of this is one. You're just sitting there laughing, tonight.
I'm just looking at it going, yeah, this is what we do.
Yeah, this is the life we live. Okay, I will try and explain this so it kind of makes sense, but you will probably get lost. But it's going to be fun going through it anyway. Also going to help me work out if I can make it smaller or not. So for those of you that were here earlier that have seen the space repetition thing, this question mark here is instead of using the if, and then this colon here is instead of using like the comma, and then forget all like the nested stuff. And then this is like the bracket to finish it off. Yeah.
Nesting. Oh.
Yeah. So you can see here we've got date between due date. So that's the due date of the project. Now days. So this is the date between. So this is the question for the date between formula, and this is inside the first question that we've got. And what I'm doing is I'm asking if the date between these two things in days is bigger than 0. If it is, then do loads of other stuff. Where's the stop? There you go. There's the stop. So if it is bigger than 0, then look at this. It's so hard to concentrate with you giggling in the background. So this is not making any sense. But yeah, so we've got the date between question. Is the date between project due date and now in days bigger than 0? If it is, then look at all this stuff. If it's not, then look at all this stuff. So if it is, then ask this question, which is asked in the same sort of question, but I'm modding. So instead of using the mod bracket formula, I'm using the percentage icon. Mind blank. I was like, what is that? Percentage. So what this is doing is asking the days between here, what is the remainder of that from 7? So if the days between is 6, it will show 6. If it's 7, then it will show 0. If it's 8, it will show 1. Did that make sense? John, did that make sense?
You were talking to me. I was just listening.
Yeah, I'm looking over at you. Like, did that make sense? Because it's like the remainder. So it's like when you divide the number by the thing, it's whatever's left.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's 7 because there's 7 days in a week. So if it's 6 days, then I know it's 6. If it's 7 days, then I know it's a week. And that's where all the questions come in, because if it's a week in Notion, then it would show 7 days, but I don't want it to show 7 days, because then it would be 0 weeks and 7 days, but I'd much rather see 1 week as 0 days. Yeah. Which is why I have it as 7. If it's 8, then it will show 1, because there's 1 week and 1 day, and I want this to be the 1 because this is working out days.
That's good. Yeah, no, I'm with you now. Well explained. Cool. Beautiful. Well done.
Right. And just to put a curveball in.
You're laughing.
Well, just to put a curveball in, now that I've explained that, I've had to add 1. Ask what the percent sign means. I've literally just explained that, but if you need me to explain it again, then let me know and I'll explain it again. Now I've had to add a +1 because Notion, when the days are in front, takes a day off for some weird reason. Well, it's not a weird reason, actually. I do know the reason. It's because it works on an hourly basis. So as soon as it hits midnight, that's when the next day is. So that's where you see like a due date that should be tomorrow is actually today, because it's not like the midnight of the next day. So what I've had to do is I've had to add 1 to say to account for those tomorrow tasks. But I only need to add 1 for the tasks, for the projects that are ahead of time. Because for the projects that are behind time, that doesn't account for it. So for the second half of this massive question, I don't need the +1, which is, again, another pain in the bum. But yeah, so if all of that, so if there's 1 day left, for example, if that's greater than or equal to 7, So if there is more than like 6 days left, basically, then do this wherever the end is. There. If there's more than 6 days left, do this. If there's not, put 0. So that's saying if there is 7, 14, 21, 28, maths, 35, any sort of like iteration of weeks left, it will show 0 days. So that's where the 0 comes from in the days part of the formula. So it'd be 0, and then the D comes in later on. So it doesn't show like 7 for the days, or 8 or 9 or 10, because then I've got weeks. If it does, if it's smaller than that, then what it's doing is basically doing the exact same thing, but asking if it equals to 0. Yeah, if it equals to 0, then put weeks. So it's going to show 1 week. If it's not 0, then just put the days. Yeah. So that's basically saying if it's 7 days, Jonathan has just disappeared and I've only just noticed. Yeah, so if it's 7 days, then that's distracting. It's just like an empty chair. Yeah, so if it's 7 days, it's going to show 0 days. And if it's 7 or more, it's going to show 1 week, because if it's 6, obviously it's not 1 week, so we don't need to see the 1. Hopefully that makes sense. Then for the next bit, we've got the format. So this is the next part of the question. We've got the same formula, really, just asking the same sorts of questions, just working out weeks instead of days. Then as we go all the way down, you can see we've got the W, and this is where it adds the W on the end. So it's working out how many days there are. If there's more than 7, then it will be 1. If there's more than 14, it will be 2, and that number will show. And then it will put a W on the end of whatever that is. What I'm then doing is I'm adding on top of that the days bit. So now I'm working out how many days we have left. So all of this is working out how many weeks we have left to do. But it's working out the weeks by working out how many days. Then, because I've worked out how many weeks and how many days we've got left, I'm working out the days. So it's kind of a repeat of what's going on in here. So we've got date between, days, now, days, 7. We've still got the same check, same questions, same check, same question, same check, same question, all the way through, except when we come to the end, it has a D instead of a W. What it also does is, because all of this is related to what's coming, what's in front of, what we need to go to, get to, then it's a green tick, because I know I've got time to do that project. Now, the bit afterwards is the red cross. So it's the same process, pretty much the exact same process, but instead of having the +1s, because I don't need the +1s anymore, it's just the questions. So you've got the absolute. So instead of having a negative, because I don't want the negative, we've got the abs. So it shows 1, 2, 3, rather than -1, -2, -3. Working out the weeks, then working out the days. So you've got the week there. So all of this is the weeks. Oops. All of this is the weeks. And then, was that weeks? Oh no, that's the weeks there. So it finishes off there. So that's all of the weeks that we have like overdue. Then we've got all of the days that are overdue, and then we've got the cross at the end. Nice. So I've managed to get through the formula. No more questions have come in. And I think I will call it there. Jonathan has, oh wow, look at that. Perfect time. I just finished the formula.
Oh, I missed all the fun.
Just finished the formula.
Explain it again.
You've got it.
No.
Dissect it yourself.
I know.
But yeah, so like I said, like numerous times during the stream, like if you want to come on, share what you've done, share what you're doing, ask questions, just be on to have a chat. There is a link in the description below to join us on stream. When the podcast
right now.
What?
Don't click the link to come in right now.
No, the link doesn't come to this stream.
Okay.
It goes to my Calendly where they can book a time, which will be like next week or something. But yeah, so so if you want to come on stream like next week, week after, whatever, let me know. If you want us to build anything, if you want me or John, like you could build something, then sort of like send me a request or
I
any
can
idea.
actually do that, you know.
Yeah, you can use Notion.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have any like requests or you want to contact me or contact John, either of us, both on Twitter and the rest of it. But until then, guys, I will see you all next week at the exact same time, 7 p.m. BST start time. So I'll see you then.
Bye.